Hey, good morning, everyone.
By Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
All right, here we go. Welcome, everyone. I cannot get rid of that J-Rod. I was trying to get rid of it right before the show, and I can't get rid of it, so my apologies, guys. You're going to have J-Rod right in front of me. It's always something. Show on the radio since 1977. Welcome, one and all. And boy, do we have an exciting show for you today, because, well, isn't every show an exciting show? There's always something. There's always drama. You know, always something going on. And there certainly is something going on today. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I'm having a technical problem on YouTube with something on my screen that I can't get to go away. Yesterday, the building, we had a lightning strike here at the facility. And that's just the way it is, people. That's just the way it is. Well, so much happening, so much going on. And, of course, this huge project, Veritas, release that's coming out today is going to be absolutely amazing with this Fox reporter. And we're going to talk about that quite a bit. And, the media are a poison on our society. They cannot be trusted. And you know what? They probably never were trustworthy, if you think about it. Really, if you do. If you think about it, they've probably never been trusted or trustworthy. I remember hearing when I was younger that Hearst with the newspapers got us in the Spanish-American War, right? Remember the Maine, and all that stuff. I'm not going to go through that whole story in case you don't know. But, that's the way that it was way back in those days. And it's probably still that way today. It's just more of us are in tune to what is going on. And we have a lot of citizen journalists out there that are able to monitor and tell us about things that are going on that the mainstream media do not. And today, with Project Veritas' new release with this Fox News reporter, there is going to be something very, very big happening. Yes, I know. Yes, I know. My wife is texting me. Okay, so, when I'm on the air, I'm on the air. And I'm here for 3 hours, and when there's problems, I can't fix them until after I get off the air. Yeah, there's like some watermark on my screen that should not be there on YouTube, because I use I don't stream on YouTube, I use a secondary app, and it's kind of covering up my face depending on where I'm standing on YouTube, and it's a little distracting. I'm getting messages and DMs from people. Yes, I know. But I'm here now, and there's not much I can do about it while I'm live on the air. And I've lost my train of thought because I'm getting overwhelmed with messages from people this morning about the watermark over my face on YouTube. What can I do, people? What can I do? I got one guy here, me, to handle this while I'm on the air. So this Fox News story that's coming out from Project Veritas today is the beginning of something big. And if you don't know about it, that's probably because you're not online. And if you're online, you would know about these things. If you get your news from television, you won't know about this because Fox News Channel isn't going to report it. Television News is not going to report it. And it's not going to get reported because it's about Fox News and the mainstream media. And a local reporter from a Fox News affiliate in Houston, Texas, during a live broadcast yesterday, just went rogue. So there's an anchor in the studio who introduces her out in the field, this field reporter. She's doing some story on the heat and air conditioners or something. But before she goes into the story, she unloads on Fox and talks about a big Project Veritas release that she is going to be involved in that's going to be released today. And I just thought this was incredibly cool. And let's go and check this out. Now, let me just play the audio. I now know what the issue is with the watermark on the screen, and I'll try to fix it in a bit. But listen to this. So her name is Ivory Hecker, and if I sound disoriented, I have gotten, in the last 5 minutes, about 175 direct messages from people, and I didn't turn my notifications off on my devices, so my iPad is exploding. Notifications from Instagram, notifications from Twitter, email notifications. I'm getting text messages. I'm getting everything going on at the same time, and it caught me off guard, so I'm a little distracted. During the first break, I'll recoup myself. It's live, people. This is what happens. Remember, you used to hear these stories about when television used to be live, like the primetime sitcoms and stuff were all live, and there'd be screw-ups all the time? That's what happens here, okay? We are live, so there are things that happen. All right, so I know what to fix now. All right, so listen to this. This is Ivory Hecker during her live report. Listen.
Fox 26 reporter Ivory Hecker is live in Montgomery County to take a look at that aspect. Thanks, guys. That's right. Before we get to that story, I want to let you, the viewers, know that Fox Corp has been muzzling me to keep certain information from you, the viewers, and from what I'm gathering, I am not the only reporter being subjected to this. I am going to be releasing some recordings about what goes on behind the scenes at Fox because it applies to you, the viewers. I found a nonprofit journalism group called Project Veritas. It's going to put that out tomorrow, so tune into them. But as for this heat wave across Texas, you can see what it's doing to AC units.
Okay, so she has been recording them. We've gotten some information. I'm going to take a break in a moment, a little early, so I can get back on track and get everything taken care of and turn the notifications off of my iPhone, so I'll stop getting. People are still messaging me even after I mentioned I'm getting more messages from people, and my iPad is exploding so much I can't even read it. But anyway, this reporter's tapes, we don't know what they are, but I'm going to take a break and get everything taken care of, and then kind of like restart the show, if you don't mind. All right, we'll be right back. The temperature this morning before I left, the high today is going to be almost 90 degrees here in South Florida. All right, let me see if I can fix this while I got you guys live. I'm not sure I can. I'm going to show you. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm going to be right back, guys. We will talk later in the week.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach. Listen to the Steve Kane
All right. All right, so basically I'm screwed here for the next 3 hours. I love it. I love it. I miss the old days when I just came on and talked on the... I got all kinds of problems. No, I have problems every day. Okay? That's what happens, okay? We got a small team here of people, and I apologize, okay? So you're going to have to watch the video today with a big old watermark in front of my face for the whole time, and that's going to be the way it is. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Oh, a day without freaking problems. I get so frustrated. This job is not... People think this job's easy. Oh, you just come in, you wake up, you roll in, you talk for 3 hours. Oh, my gosh. The part of the job that's not supposed to be a job is the 3 hours on the air. And, well, today it's going to be a screwy day. All right, let's go to the phones, and then I'll try to recoup and revamp. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. How are you today?
Terrible. Yesterday we got struck by lightning, which had to be right over my head because I'm at the top floor. Now I got this watermark over my face on YouTube. It's a disaster.
I guess you're property now on YouTube if you got that watermark on.
No, it's just it's a setting on the thing that I can only fix on my desktop computer at home. I can't do it remotely here at the radio station.
I completely understand, but like my chiropractor always said, everyone else has major problems in their lives, so if the viewers on YouTube can watch a watermark, maybe just turn your phone a little bit and get you a little off-centered.
Yeah, I know. I'm standing to the left of the screen, so yeah, I'm standing to the left of the screen, so the watermark's not over my face. I was talking about this the other day. What people don't understand is this, okay? Since I started live streaming, I've been on several different platforms over the years. At any given time, there were hundreds, sometimes thousands of people commenting in a very negative way on everything I do. Like I scratch my nose, I'll get 10 messages from, "Don't scratch your nose, damn it, you son of a," I'm telling you, people are not, and what I tell people oftentimes is imagine you're at work, and there's a screen in front of you with hundreds and thousands of people watching you live, commenting in real time on how you're doing at your job. It can be distracting and frustrating.
Right, because I have a camera facing forward, and believe it or not, my notepad here, which I actually haven't covered, but they can watch me at any point in time, but because I'm an owner-operator, they can't really say anything to me, only the company guys. So
don't pull a Jeffrey Toobin on us. Don't pull a Toobin on us. So anyway, what's on your mind? You're not calling about my watermark over my face, I'm sure.
Well, what you've mentioned last night about your podcast and today about this anchor who really is committing news suicide, telling them what's going on, not to mention, to kind of add with that, like seeing something early this morning while driving through the countryside.
Jacqueline, $10 super sticker. Thank you.
How the narratives are being forced with these.
Mm-hmm.
And literally slander President Trump for every little thing, because now with a lot of these investigations that have happened that are now backfiring, it's getting to be more and more ridiculous how they just want to criticize former president, as they say. Well, to me, he's still my president regardless. And it's just her coming out with that, saying about what's been going on at Fox. I congratulate her 120%. Regardless.
Well, she did, I would imagine that was her last broadcast from the station. But listen, I appreciate the call, all right? Take care. All right, now I'm going to do something crazy. I'm just going to pretend the show is starting now, okay? Let me do the show open, and let me restart the show like nothing happened.
You are listening.
What that is, it's a window for the super chats and the super stickers, and I added a window to put your name up when you leave a super chat or a super sticker, and it's supposed to be off to the right, and it's stuck in the center of the screen. That's the problem. So if you want to see your name in front of my face today. All right, welcome to the program, everybody. It's Tuesday. See, we're starting over. We're pretending the last 20 minutes didn't happen. My name's Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It is Tuesday morning, June 15th, 2021. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so let me jump right into this. Project Veritas is an amazing organization. They've basically been silenced, okay, over the past few years by the mainstream media. And James O'Keefe and Project Veritas have saved America in the past, literally, with their Acorn exposure. James O'Keefe, he became a household name in America with his Acorn video, where he was the pimp with the prostitute girl, and did those videos, 11 years ago now, right? So, and they saved America. Acorn was being tasked by Obama to handle the United States Census. And the census is how the federal government does everything, allocating congressional seats in the House of Representatives. Your state legislators are also organized through the census. Pretty much all the federal funds are distributed through the census. It affects everything in our country. And Acorn is as corrupt as you can possibly be. You could not be more corrupt than Acorn was. And James O'Keefe traveled America. He was mentored by the great Andrew Breitbart, who was the founder of citizen journalism. And James O'Keefe exposing Acorn saved America because the census was taken away from them. The 2010 census. We would have been done if it was not for James O'Keefe. And the only problem James O'Keefe has had is he started with a hit that was the biggest hit ever, I think, in journalism. And he's had nothing he has done has equaled that. But he's done fantastic reporting. In particular, in the last year or two, with this insider series of the whistleblowers from different news outlets and tech organizations, it's been amazing what James O'Keefe and Project Veritas are doing. And today, he's having another major release, and this is the beginning of something huge, which I'll explain as the show goes on. How am I doing? Starting over, by the way. Yeah, this is what I was going to do, and I think it's working out well. So, a Fox News affiliate in Houston, Texas, has this young reporter, the anchor in the studio, throws it live to her in the field, and she just unloads on Fox before she does her story. Here it is.
Outages across the region. Fox 26 reporter Ivory is live in Montgomery County to take a look at that aspect.
Thanks, guys. That's right. Before we get to that story, I want to let you, the viewers, know that Fox Corp has been muzzling me to keep certain information from you, the viewers. And from what I'm gathering, I am not the only reporter being subjected to this. I am going to be releasing some recordings about what goes on behind the scenes at Fox because it applies to you, the viewers. I found a nonprofit journalism group called Project Veritas. It's going to help put that out tomorrow, so tune into them. But as for this heat wave across Texas, you can see what it's doing to AC units. This one broke.
Wow. And I can only imagine in the control room and in the studio what was going on. They must have been freaking out. They must have been freaking out. What do we do? And unfortunately, Project Veritas, and I looked for this online. I haven't seen it. I want to see the faces of the anchors when she tossed it back to the studio. But I haven't seen that online. If anybody has, DM it to me with all the other DMs I'm getting this morning. And I'm assuming that was her last report for Fox 26 out of Houston, Texas. Now, what she's talking about, I don't know, but we don't know what is she being silenced about. But there have been some stories in the past few years. You know, these affiliates are not independent. They're owned by the big corporation, these local affiliate news organizations. And there have been incidents, I think it was with Sinclair Television, okay? And it showed like some reports that they did at local affiliates around the country, and they were doing the exact same report nationwide, and how the corporate is controlling the local news like they control the national news. Okay, you do see a lot of that and other things. This is the first time with Fox. And this isn't the Fox News channel in New York or D.C. This is a local affiliate in Houston. So I'm trying to imagine what it is that she's wanted to report that she's been silenced on in Houston, Texas. I can't imagine. What I'm hoping is, though, that this is the beginning of other reporters coming out exposing what is going on. Now, you're not going to see this story on Fox. You're not going to see this story on CNN or MSNBC either, because they don't want to give Project Veritas credibility by running something they do. And plus, CNN, to me, seem to be partners with Fox News these days. But what shocked me is that she did this, because what she just did was, in effect, throw her career away. Who's going to she's got to be fired at the Fox affiliate out there. And who's going to hire her? So, you got to ask yourself this question. Is what she's going to share with us today, can it possibly be worth it? If she was an insider at Fox News in New York or D.C., who knows what it could involve? But a local affiliate really has me scratching my head. What information could she have at a local Fox News affiliate in Houston, Texas, that is worth throwing her career away? And, I don't know how old she is. I looked her up right before the show to try to find out how old she is. She looks young. And if you Google her, she's a big athlete, and she's a typical, millennial age person with a lot of bikini pictures and stuff, online, which all the guys will go look for right now. So, I don't know, maybe she's got some rich husband, sugar daddy type boyfriend, I don't know. But why someone at her age would toss their career away is beyond me. I just can't imagine that she has something huge and earth-shattering to a level to throw away her career for the rest of her life at such a young age. But I must tell you, the television news, there is nothing productive that comes out of television cable news. Nothing. I do enjoy Newsmax. I know a lot of you get upset with me. I don't watch One American News anymore. It's just a little boring. On occasion, I'll flip it on. I have the app on my television, and I'll flip it on occasion, but that's a rare occasion. I watch Newsmax a lot, which is basically talk shows, and I enjoy Newsmax, especially I like that. I like their 7 to 9 o'clock lineup, and they're very good people. I watch that a lot, and they're very, very good, and I think they're good competition for Fox. But the television news, I'm hoping this is what's coming out with her. The television news, their purpose is to serve the corporation's agenda and push a narrative and push an agenda. And the agenda could be anything. It doesn't have to be a Trump-related event. They are to influence you as to what you are supposed to be concerned about, what you are supposed to be interested about. And it's very effective. I'll give you an example of something that happened just last week with Democrats. Remember, there was this lunatic on MSNBC, black radical New York Times writer who said that seeing the American flag was disturbing to her. Remember that? And then a day or two later, Sunny, whatever her name, the black woman that's on The View, said she finds the flags disturbing, the American flag disturbing. Now that's a liberal example, but that can happen too with conservatives. I was very much behind the war in Iraq, and I regret that today. I didn't know that George W. Bush was a complete liar. I didn't know that Dick Cheney was a liar. I believed them. And I believe Colin Powell with his presentation to the United Nations. But they used the media to sell that war to us that was built on a lie. And they knew they were lying. George W. Bush, Dick Cheney, Colin Powell, the British intelligence where the intel came from, they knew they were lying. But the media got us wrapped up in it, didn't they? We were in a different head after 9/11 and what had happened in Afghanistan, and they used the media to manipulate us into supporting a lie, the weapons of mass destruction lie, which were never found in Iraq. And of course, they knew about them. And you can see what kind of person Bush and Cheney are now. Look at Liz Cheney. Look at how George W. Bush behaves and dishonors us who supported him every time he opens his mouth up about anything in the news in the last, I guess since he was out there supporting Hillary Clinton against Donald Trump in the 2016 race. So I'm really hoping this is the beginning of the end for television news. Television news to me could very well go the way of the newspapers. Right? Still around, but not relevant, not a player anymore. Because their reporting and everything they do is so biased, so wrong, and so dishonest. And what this Ivory Hecker girl could be doing is opening up a lot of other reporters that are very frustrated and fed up to come out and share what's going on inside the news corporate world of America. And I honestly believe, everything I say, I hate to say honestly, because everything I share with you is an honest perspective. I love when people say, you want me to tell you the truth? No, I want you to lie to me. Isn't everything you say the truth? But if television news, in particular cable news, went the way of the newspapers, I think this country would be much better off. The way people, think about it. How do you get your news? Talk radio, podcast, YouTube, Twitter, Parler, wherever. And I think it's best when you seek out multiple sources and people. And I've just started to get in the TikTok. You guys should follow me on TikTok. Brian Craig on TikTok. I'm starting to get in the TikTok. A lot of news on TikTok, and I'm putting up videos on TikTok too. But I think it's much better, this world that Project Veritas is a part of, that Andrew Breitbart really founded, citizen journalism, where people are covering stories live, boom, they're putting them out there online, and you decide, as opposed to the corporate media. I watch local news in my community on the local cable because I like to know what's going on in town. And it really shocked me how left-wing the local news has gotten. Because I'd been away from the local news for a while, and I started watching it on occasion a few months ago, and it's as biased liberally as the national media because it's owned by the big corporations. So what she's going to break, I have no idea. Do you guys have any thoughts on what she is going to break today on Project Veritas? Will it be worth her giving up her entire career in her 20s? We shall see. Project Veritas usually does their releases around 11 or 12 Eastern Time, so we'll find out in midday what the first release is. Now, what Project Veritas does, which is very smart, they do everything over a period of days. So they end with the big one. So whatever we get today won't be the major thing. That'll be whenever the final installment is. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's 33 minutes after. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. All right, we'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Guys, Brian Craig here.
I can't fix it now because I got to sign on to my account and everything. I can't fix it. Okay. Yeah, appreciate it though.
.com with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the My Pillow, My Slippers.
What the watermark is, it's not a watermark. It's a notification for Super Chats.
These are fantastic slippers.
Really?
And
Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
it's supposed to be like up to the right of the screen, and somehow it's stuck in the center and I can't move it. So I have to wait till after the show to take care of it.
Topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely. My wife loves it.
Oh man, I know they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code Kane at checkout,
well, I like, as crazy as it sounds, I like perfection. And when something is going wrong, it's aggravating to me. I probably should keep it to myself instead of griping about it on the air, but you know, whatever.
Distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call
well, it's not a good way to start the day.
FLA 3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back. You know, my guess with what she's talking about, and this is just a guess, okay, this Fox News insider going to Project Veritas today, because of her location, Fox affiliate in Houston, Texas, it's got to be something about the border. It would be my guess. All right? Because that's a big issue in Texas. All right, let's go. We'll find out. You're on the radio. Good morning.
This is Linda in Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Linda, what's up?
Didn't Dick Cheney's company, former employer, make a lot of money in wartime?
Yeah, what was the name of that company again? Was it Blackwater? What was the name of the company that Dick Cheney was the head of? I forgot the name of it. But yeah, his company was involved in... you know, a lot of things that the liberals said about Dick Cheney in the early 2000s was correct. We were wrong, you know. I'm not always right. And I know a lot of us MAGA people supported Bush and Cheney. We didn't know what they were like.
Yeah, we're sheeples. We follow the herd. We believe.
Well, you know, what happened was, it wasn't just that we were sheeple. I mean, we got attacked on 9/11. And remember, on 9/11, there was a greater loss of American life than on Pearl Harbor Day, okay? I mean, think about that. More Americans were killed on 9/11 than at Pearl Harbor. And it was worse because at least Pearl Harbor was a military target. This was a 100% civilian target. And we had that embedded journalism thing, and it was like the days of Ernie Pyle in the Second World War again. And we got jazzed up on, you know, American victory over there and everything. So we, you know, and they took advantage of that. We were scared too. There was fear, a lot of patriotism. Remember the flags on the car windows and everything? And they took advantage of that.
Will the woke let us celebrate the big 9/11 anniversary
Well, I don't think you celebrate the 9/11 anniversary unless you're like Al Qaeda. You know, I think what you do on 9/11 is you remember it.
We acknowledge.
Yeah, we acknowledge, we remember. Well, last year they I don't remember it being much of a thing last year because of COVID.
Didn't even read the names.
Well, that's going to fade away. I mean, it's been 20 years. I mean, the reading of the names is going to fade away eventually. I mean, it's sad. I mean, it's a sad thing, but eventually it's going to fade away, and every year it's going to be less and less and less. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, think
Giuliani's son gets in. Will probably continue.
Let me tell you, Giuliani's son is pretty impressive. I've been following him online, and he's staying out of the national media, but he's doing a lot of stuff in New York, in particular, and he is sharper than his dad ever was, and his dad's a great man. I mean, he's a fighter.
He was such a rebellious kid, and then he went to military school and straightened out.
Well, Giuliani's son is more like Trump in the way he carries himself. He is really good. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in New York. Now that we're getting into election season, all these Democrats are opening up their states, like California. They're having a recall in California. All of a sudden, the masks are off and the state's open, and there's a lot of that going on in New York too. I don't know what his chances are, but he's pretty darn good. All right, hey, listen, thank you for the call.
Well, I like Rick Grinnell. Yeah.
Well, I like anyone other than Governor Newsom. I mean, he's a real piece of work. California is opening up finally, and I've talked about this in the past. I've seen some people from I follow. I watch a lot of YouTube, and there's some people I follow on YouTube that are from California, and they visited Florida, and they were in tears. This was a few months ago because it was open, and they've been under house arrest for over a year out there, and they're just, it's. If I were, if you're in the therapy business, if you're a psychologist or psychiatrist, California is where it's at right now because the level of depression out there is pretty severe. It really is.
California, when Mayor Bradley was in, it was heaven.
Well, it's not now, and big question: will California ever be? They have so many illegals that have taken over Southern California. The days of Ronald Reagan's era, I don't know if they're ever possible to regain. It's over out there. Halliburton, yes, Halliburton was the name of Cheney's company, by the way. Yeah. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Good. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name?
Oh, thank you. My name is Sandra, calling from Indiana.
Hey, Sandra, what's up?
Well, I believe the company you're talking about with Cheney was Halliburton.
That's right, yes. Halliburton was Cheney's company, and they did make a lot of money in the war. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it, yeah. I mean, look at Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney's upset with Trump for ending the war and bringing the troops home. Who the hell is she? Yeah, easy for her to say. She's got no skin in the game. All she gets is profits.
Well, the bad thing about it is I helped campaign for Bush in 2000 and 2008 and didn't realize this until my brother told me he was a progressive.
He's not a progressive, George W. Bush. He's not a progressive. He's part of the deep state political establishment. Remember, his father was director of the CIA and FBI. The Bush the father. He's not a progressive. He's in fact, I would say George W. Bush is not political at all. He's part of that. He's part of the ruling elite that thinks that this is their country, not ours.
Well, it makes you wonder since he was backing Hillary Clinton and.
Well, that was about the establishment power. There's no difference between the Republican establishment and the Democrat establishment. It's an illusion of party differences and rivalries for us on television. Like I saw something on Twitter yesterday that was disturbing with Ted Cruz and Kamala Harris. There was a video of Ted Cruz and Kamala Harris before she was a candidate for vice president, when she was still in the Senate, and apparently she had won a bet on the World Series or something, and Ted Cruz was palling around with Kamala Harris like she was his girlfriend, you know. And I'm not friends with Democrats. I'm not interested in being friends. How can you be friends with a Democrat? You know, your moral. It's not just because they don't support Trump. That's part of it. But a Democrat's moral view is the complete polar opposite of mine. The things that they support are evil. Whether it's abortion or whatever, you can make a long list. So I'm not friends with people that I believe are immoral people supporting sins and criminal activities. I can't. And these Republican establishment, the Democrat establishment, they're all friends.
Yeah, I go back and forth with a lot of people on YouTube when I make comments that are actually atheists, and I try and change their mind, and they don't listen.
Well, yeah, I was talking about this on my podcast last night about I don't associate in any way, shape, or form with atheists, even if it's I can't even listen to them. Like, there's a lot of people that are entertainers that are atheists. I can't watch them. I find atheists, I know we're supposed to proselytize and all of that, and I get that. But atheism is evil to me. When I'm around atheists, it's just, to me, I feel a sense of evil. I want nothing to do with atheists. I don't watch them. I don't talk to them. I want nothing to do with atheists. Atheism is a religion in itself. It's become a religion. And it's evil.
I have dubbed the White House a different name, and so it gets its credibility back.
You've dubbed it what? I don't know if we can say it on the radio. What is it? What have you dubbed it?
House.
Satan's house? You know. What do you think? You think Biden is Satan?
Administration.
Yeah.
Is evil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Administration is evil. They pack nothing but hate. And this country has never been more divided with racism.
Well, when you look at Kamala Harris and you look at Joe Biden, okay, why do you think Kamala Harris is where she is today? I mean, why did she seek this position out? What is her agenda, do you think, Kamala Harris?
To be considered the first black female vice president.
Well, yeah, that's part of it. If you look at Kamala Harris, her whole life, she's never done anything. Her whole life has been running for the next job, getting the next job. She's always looking, as soon as she gets Obama was the same way. She has no agenda, just like Obama had no agenda, other than promoting themselves. Whatever job they have, they want the next higher job. She's one step away now. That's all she cares about, you know. And Joe Biden, we know he's just a creep who's a corrupt public official who's just trying to make money and get rich off of selling his whatever office he holds at any particular time, whether it was vice president, senator, and now he's got the big chair, you know. So I mean, they're evil, but their agendas are very selfish agendas. Biden's is money, and Kamala is not so much power. Power comes with what she's looking to achieve, but she just wants to keep, having prestige, a celebrity. She wants to have a place in the history books. They're not, Donald Trump was a step down for him to become president. He lost money.
You remember Robert Byrd, Senator of West Virginia?
Yeah, the Klansman.
Right. He was friends with Biden for many, many years, and Biden eulogized him at his funeral.
So did Barack Obama, and Bill Clinton was at the funeral too.
Right. So that's what I can't figure out with Biden's racist past history and all this slurs and comments that he made during 2020. The thing was stolen. How come history?
Because they don't. Young black people don't know the history of the Democrat Party. Older black people do. That's why the racial division you're seeing today is because black people were starting to learn that the Democrat Party is the racist party. They were starting to learn this. They don't learn it in school. They don't learn it in college. They've been learning it online. So this racial division that we're experiencing is to try to bring the black voters back to the Democrat Party because they've been losing them. That's why they're doing it.
The Democratic Party years ago was the KKK.
Well, they still are.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they still are.
They, what the Democrat Party have been using and exploiting blacks forever, and they still are today. Yeah. I mean, they're still. I mean, one of the most revealing things Joe Biden said was that George Floyd did more for civil rights than Martin Luther King, which is stupid, a stupid comment. And what I was telling people about that at the time when he made that ridiculous comment, you got to understand, in 1968, Joe Biden was in the Democrat Party, and he was surrounded by all these Democrat segregationists who were open segregationists. And when Martin Luther King died in 1968, when he was murdered, Joe Biden and his friends didn't think that was a bad thing. They thought he was a troublemaker. You understand what I mean? So him looking, because of his cognitive decline, in his mind, he's thinking about Martin Luther King in the way that he and his Democrat segregationist friends thought of Martin Luther King back in the 60s. You understand what I'm saying? That's why he thinks that George Floyd is a greater civil rights icon than the great Martin Luther King, who's a saintly figure in American society.
Have you ever heard of Judge?
Of course, yeah. Well, listen, I got to run for a break, but I appreciate the call. Welcome to the show, and call again, all right? All right. Well, thank you. All right, listen, we're going to take our last break of the first hour. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be back right after this.
At noon weekdays, Junior Radio 2, Richard Pearl on politics. Unfiltered, unapologetic, always controversial. Richard Pearl tells it like it is. No topic is off limits. This is talk radio like it should be. You've known him as a master of nutrition.
Yeah, I've had Terrence Williams on my podcast.
Heard him before. Richard Pearl on politics. High noon weekdays on this radio station. Be there. The Steve Kane 2022 MAGA Cruise is a go. Leaving January 21st on the Celebrity Equinox out of Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale. Join Steve Kane and me, Brian Craig, for 9 nights cruising the Caribbean. We will stop in Grand Cayman Island, Bonaire, Curacao, and Aruba. Reserve your cabin right now and call Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just like...
All right, welcome back. It is 8 minutes before 7. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. So I got some more information on this. Fox reporter out of Texas from the Houston Chronicle has a story on her. Let me read through this. I was just reading it during the break. Houston Fox 26 reporter Ivory Hecker on Monday. Oh, my goodness. Another freaking problem. I guess I won't read that story. The hell? Yeah, I feel like I'm being sabotaged here. I guess I'll have to find another story. Anyway, it was a good story. I just read it during the break, but it's gone now. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Yeah, that was me throwing my glasses across the studio. I am so freaking pissed. Anyway, the show must go on. I hope I didn't break the glasses because I won't be able to read anything if they're broken. Oh my goodness. Oh, good. They didn't break. It doesn't matter. They're cheap. They're just reading glasses. You know why I couldn't read this story? This is one of the reasons that. Oh my gosh, you guys. You're getting a real behind-the-scenes look today. Forget about Project Veritas. This is the behind-the-scenes. Oh boy, I tell you, I'm pissed. No, what happened? You know what happened is that this is why newspapers are dying. Is what just happened to me. I read this story in the Houston Chronicle, which I'll never read the Houston Chronicle again. I probably have never read it before. And they have a story on this reporter that I've been talking about from the Fox affiliate. And I was reading the story during the break, and then I refreshed the screen on my iPad, and you only get one free reading of the story. You've got to subscribe to their website to read the story, and a big subscription box came up, and I'm not able to read it again. And, you know, the news media, they don't understand. No one wants to pay to read local newspapers online. Like, we have local newspapers here, and they do the same thing, right? They want you get to read a couple of stories here and there for free, and then they want you to subscribe. Is there anyone in this listening audience that is paid and is currently paying to subscribe to your local newspaper online? This is why they are dying. People's expectations for news and information online is free. And the newspapers just don't get it. The reason the Daily Mail in the United Kingdom is the most read English language newspaper on the planet Earth, there are two reasons. One, it's free, and then they also report on good stories. You'll make it up in online visits and ads if you offer it for free. And I wouldn't pay 5 cents a month to read the local newspapers, especially one like this out of Houston that I'm never going to read again after I read this story on this girl. But that's why newspapers are really dying. A lot of people think newspapers are dying because the internet and print. That's just an excuse. You know, that what's happened with newspapers is they don't understand that the consumer of news, that our expectations have changed. We used to pay a quarter or 50 cents for the paper out of the machine and $1 on the weekend, and you didn't mind paying extra for the Sunday paper because it was thicker, and of course had the coupons in it. But when it comes to online news, people don't want to pay the local newspapers, and I don't know anyone who has, and I bet you no one in this listening audience subscribes to any local newspapers, and that's why they're dying and going out of business. If they would offer them for free, they would be widely read and would be profitable through doing things online. I mean, like here in radio's free, right? Radio's free. And our online streaming, it's all free. No matter how you listen to the Steve Kane Show, it is free to listen. Now, we do ask for your support through supporting our great sponsors to the program, and that's great. And that's how it's supposed to work. But not newspapers. So you newspaper snobs out there, that's why you're dying, people. All right, good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, it's Mike and welcome.
Hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm rotten. Yesterday we got struck by lightning. You know, we got struck by lightning during the show yesterday. Then I'm having this watermark over my face on YouTube. Now I'm having this problem with this newspaper. I mean, my gosh, can I go home and go back to bed?
They're taking you off the air.
Oh my goodness.
This Ivory hack, she's really something. I read her bio real quick this morning. She's a young woman. She's only 32 years old, and she's got 2 good stories under her belt. They said that she covered the George Bush funeral.
She covered the what? Oh, she covered the George Floyd funeral? Oh, Bush 41's funeral. Okay.
Yeah. And she covered when President Trump came to Houston. She covered that.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a couple of good stories in her thoughts. So I'm really curious because.
Well, my guess would be it's got to be the border because of where she's at. It's got to be something with the border because she's in Texas. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but that's going to be my guess. It's going to be something about. It's going to be something on how at the corporate level, because they own all these Fox affiliates around America. How at the corporate level, they're controlling local reporters and their content and what they report upon.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating. Steve and I, we were at Clear Channel for a number of years on a big station in Miami, 940 WINZ, 940 WINZ, and it was awful, big corporate, national corporate thing. And during commercial breaks, the program director would come into the studio and say, "Change the subject. Don't play that soundbite again. Erase that soundbite from the computer. Don't ever play that again." During commercial, it was like a conductor, and it was so difficult to do a show. That's why we're here, because we don't have any, we don't have that here. We're independent, I only answer to Steve, and Steve answers to no one. But and it's very difficult in a corporate world to do any type of news discussion or broadcast, because there's all kinds of influences at the corporate level on you. And that's what I'm assuming she's going to reveal. And what's being said is she's been secretly recording these things for some time and has a whole bunch of secret recordings that Project Veritas is going to release.
Yeah, because it's got to be big, because like I said, she's a young woman, she's got a whole career ahead of her.
Well, I don't know what she has left. I mean, Cheryl Atkinson is spectacular, right? And she came out about what was being done to her, and she's barely around, Cheryl Atkinson, and she's a veteran national news person. So I don't know. She's young, and she's just at the start of her career, and she very well may have thrown it away. And that may be very good at the end of a movie. But I don't know, like I say, she's pretty, so maybe she's got some rich husband or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, but I don't think she's going to get hired. Who's going to hire her nationally? Because, somebody like that, okay, what the fear is, like say you're Newsmax, and you say, "Oh, let's hire her." Then people say, "Well, wait a minute. What if she secretly records us for 6 months and releases it?" Yeah.
They could put her in the afternoon and get rid of the guy. That would be great.
Yeah, but would they trust her? Would they trust her not to record them secretly?
I would.
No, I hope Newsmax hires her. That would be great.
I would get rid of I forget his name all the time, but the guy who looks like he's sitting on the toilet.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Bob
Sellers. He's the only weak link at Newsmax. Everybody else at Newsmax is tops, but Sellers is awful.
He's the last of the weak link.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now.
Yeah, all right. Hey, listen, Mike. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, another topic real quick. Are you going to talk about Juan Williams later, what he said?
Talk about what?
Juan Williams later?
What did Juan Williams say?
He was talking about that the Republican Party has a plan to steal.
Oh, yeah. Juan Williams, the Five's ratings have shot through the roof since Juan Williams left, and that's not a mistake. That's not an accident. It means that, and I've watched the Five. I've watched it maybe 3 times since he left, but that's 3 times more than I've watched it in the last couple years. I stopped watching the Five because of him. So Juan Williams, what Fox News should understand is that Juan Williams is a viewer repellent. When Juan Williams is on, people don't want to watch. So I don't know, when someone is a repellent of viewers, like Juan Williams is, I don't know if I should be talking about him, because maybe he has a similar effect on listeners. Juan Williams is what Juan Williams is doing right now. I'll tell you and I got a break because I'm late, but I'll tell you about Juan Williams since you brought it up. Juan Williams, hold on, Mike. I'm going to tell you what's going on with Juan Williams. Juan Williams is on the road to be fired from Fox News Channel, okay? This is removing him from the 5. I'm sure he's got some type of contract, so they're fulfilling the contract so they don't have to pay him to do nothing. And this is what they did to Alan Combs. They fired him from the show he did with Hannity, and then he was a pundit like this, then he was gone. So what Juan Williams is doing right now is auditioning for MSNBC and CNN. You understand? So Juan Williams is going to say a lot of stupid things as a way to, please hire me, CNN, please hire me, MSNBC. I understand. He's trying to be like these insiders are to Project Veritas, but get a job out of it from one of the liberal cable networks. So Juan Williams, nothing he says is worthy of discussion. Just take it with the fact that he's trying to audition to get on one of these liberal outlets. Make sense to you? All right, take care, take care. All right, listen, a little more than an hour done, less than 2 to go. Thankfully so, because I'm in a really bad freaking head today. Throwing my glasses across the studio, having all kinds of other problems. But let's take our break. Oh, my goodness. Let's take our break. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We'll be back with hour number 2 after this.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great work and the incredible prices at Dr. Gupta's Brighton Dental. Richie the bus driver called Steve Kane on the air and told him about his experience at Brighton Dental.
Good morning. I have to talk about Brighton Dental because your sponsor is a miracle worker. I broke my tooth. I fractured it and went backwards in my mouth. Oh my front top tooth. I put it back into the socket. It felt like it was falling out. I had pain. I couldn't even eat spaghetti. And I was going to a wedding in New York 2 days later, and I said, what am I going to do, you know? And the dentist here wanted to charge me $120 just to look at it.
I tried to bring up that article too. It did the same thing.
That's okay. It's okay. Someone just messaged me. What's going on with the beeping noise? Please fix it. So, here's a guy does nothing but I'll show you guys. This is the crap I got to deal with. This is one of our listeners, right? Look at all these messages. Just one right after the other. It's all criticism. You know, just goes on and on and on. He's a man of a few thousand words. This is what I deal with all day. Check this. Do that. What's wrong with this? Don't do that. I mean, that's what I got to deal with. No, that's fine.
Thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to eat. I wouldn't have been able to go. I would have looked like a pumpkin.
I know. Losers.
He's a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta.
And if that guy was alone, I got hundreds of guys like that.
He takes really good care of you. He's very conscientious. Dentistry is an art when you're stopping to think about it. And Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is top shelf, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in, but right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the bus driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show.
I know, you guys see what I deal with? If that was the only guy, it'd be no problem. But I got, dozens of guys like that.
That's 1-888. Okay. And now, here's Steve Kane.
Alrighty. Yes. Oh, man, we are back 7 minutes after 7. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Second day of the week. I got a day off coming up, so that'll be good. But it's to go to the doctor. It's to go to the hospital. I'm taking a day off to take my wife to the hospital to have some testing and procedures done. So that's my day off of relaxation, is going to the hospital. You know, be better than what I've been dealing with this morning. All right, welcome back, everyone. You know, the racial divisions that are going on in this country are just, they're literally getting people killed. They're literally getting people killed. And it's not getting any better, it's getting worse because of the media and the Democrats trying to cause a damn race war. Story out of Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Georgia. I said Ohio because that's where I'm from. But there was a shooting recently in Columbus, Georgia. We talked about it on the show. A 39-year-old man accused of shooting and wounding 5 people in Alabama and in Georgia told police his assaults were racially motivated. Now, typically when you hear about racially motivated violent acts in the media, it's a white guy targeting minorities. Well, that's not the case here. He was targeting white men, a detective testified on Monday. The Columbus Ledger-Inquirer reported that a police detective testified in a preliminary hearing that Justin Tyran Roberts, who was black, told police that white men had picked on him and wronged him for all his life. Basically, he explained throughout his life, white males had taken from him. Isn't that what Biden and Kamala and Black Lives Matter are saying all the time? And also what he described as military-looking white males had taken from him, Detective Brandon Lockhart testified. Police have accused Roberts of shooting 5 people in 3 separate assaults in Columbus, Georgia, and in Alabama. All victims are expected to recover. Columbus Police Chief Blackman, a lot of race here, even the chief's name has race in it, Blackman said Sunday. The chief added, the police found no evidence that he knew any of his victims. So racially motivated hate, and I don't see, are they charging him with hate crimes? In fact, this is in 2 different states, cross state lines. We're federal here. Where's the Biden Justice Department going after federal hate crime prosecution of this guy who crossed state lines targeting white people? Oh my goodness. All right, our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631, 1-888-465-2631. Back to the phones. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
Hey, Andrea. What's happening?
So sorry you're having a bad morning.
Oh, it sucks. Sucks. Just a disaster. But there's only an hour and 49 minutes till the end of the show.
Brian, but you're doing a great job. And
well, thank you.
What people say in the chat and whatever.
Oh, I was showing people, during the commercial break, I was showing people one of the dozens and dozens of lunatics I hear from all the time. Guy sent me about 5,000 words of criticism about the show. He's got a lot of time on his hands.
Very easy to Monday morning quarterback from your couch, right?
I guess so, yeah.
It could be, anybody could be a critic from their couch. It's a different story when you get in the game. But I had 2 things, and I have an idea for you. I don't know if you'll be able to do it or not.
Okay.
I thought it would be cool if maybe one day a week you open the show with the Star Spangled Banner.
No, you can't do that. Can't do that. Even Mark Levin, he ends the week with God Bless America. He does. People don't listen to talk radio for music. That turns people off. They listen for talk. But that's a good suggestion.
Well, I don't know. I just thought it was like a patriotic thing, but I totally get what.
All right, could start with the Pledge of Allegiance. At least that's the spoken word.
That would be amazing, too.
Do they still start public school with the Pledge of Allegiance in the mornings? Do they still do that, I wonder?
No.
Really?
Doing that now.
There's no Pledge of Allegiance at the beginning of school anymore?
Nope.
You know, when I was in high school, I had a friend of mine was Canadian, and he had moved to Florida, and he wouldn't say the pledge because he's Canadian. And which makes sense, right? I mean, if I went to Canada, I wouldn't pledge allegiance to the maple leaf, you know. And the teacher made him write the Pledge of Allegiance like 500 times. And his parents didn't even complain. Because, that was the old days when the teachers, not the children, ran the school system.
Well, exactly. But yet, here we are. And again, we gave them an end. And now here we are. No Pledge of Allegiance. You can't do anything patriotic. People are triggered by the flag. But
yeah.
What I'm calling about is the story that you just read, right? About that man.
Yes.
To white men. This is the repercussion of telling a specific race that you are oppressed, and it doesn't matter how you lash out. It doesn't matter how you lash out. And now I'm going to say something that's going to be pretty controversial, and it's going to probably trigger a lot of liberal credit voters. I truly believe that Biden is no different than Xi. He's no different than Kim Jong-un. He's no different than Hitler.
In what way? In what way is he similar?
I'll give you one example. None of the people that are jailed for January 6th have been charged with insurrection. Yet they are being held political hostages. They are actually holding American citizens as political hostages.
Well, they've done this. I mean, Dinesh D'Souza, who was at Mike Lindell's rally over the weekend with his daughter, was put in prison with murderers. He was a political prisoner put in there by Obama. Yeah. I mean, the liberals do have there are American gulag. This thing with the Capitol breach. They're holding. They've got close to 500 people they've arrested. They're holding many of them in solitary confinement. None of them have been tried yet. And I've been saying for months they're putting the trials off to be at election time so they can have the headlines MAGA on trial and have like 400 trials going on at the same time, MAGA on trial. And that's going to be what they're timing it for. But some of this footage, Greg Kelly showed on Newsmax last week was some footage I'd seen some of, but not from this perspective. It was a new camera angle that I had not seen before of one of the Capitol Police opening the gate and directing the people towards the Capitol. I mean, what the hell was that guy doing? That's the first guy that I would want to investigate and find out why he did that. Was that something he did on his own? Was he ordered? Find out. That's the key to everything is that particular Capitol Police officer. And so far as these people being held, they're being held like they're Al-Qaeda. They're not being treated like American citizens who are due to a just trial.
Exactly. But, okay, so compare that. Who does that? North Korea. Who does that? China. If you speak out against the Democratic Party, and we just had a very clear case of that this weekend, you get, quote unquote, disappeared.
Well, there's a lot of controversy about the January 6th commission that they wanted to put together in Congress. And I don't want anything these Democrats are running to be on TV live about it because they, what they'll do with it. But the Democrats really don't want a true open investigation into what happened because they don't want us to find out from that the Capitol Police that were showing them the way in and all this stuff what that was about, or the ones that were dressed up in the Power Ranger outfits, those Capitol Police, where the guy in the MAGA hat said, "This is our Capitol. Why aren't you stopping this? What are you doing?" Somebody gave them an order not to intervene. They don't want to find out who those guys in black that climbed through the window that they broke and opened up the front door to the So the political establishment don't really want to know what happened there. I mean, I've got some theories. I've got maybe 3 or 4 theories as to what happened. I mean, I'm very interested to know this. One of the most interesting things about it was the Proud Boys leader that was picked up by the FBI a couple days before that we found out was an FBI informant. And I think they pulled him out so he didn't take part in the act. You know what I mean? They didn't. You know, he was working with them, so that tells me they had prior knowledge of an event. You know, and you know.
What I'm saying about Joe Biden is he's no different than any of these totalitarian dictators who are willing to subject their people to the most heinous atrocities. And give Joe Biden time, because it's coming. They've been teeing up on MAGA.
Yeah.
But you've seen it.
Well, the move is, and it's an obvious one, is to declare MAGA a domestic terrorist organization and hate group so that MAGA is outlawed. That's their long-term agenda. They're trying to stop a Trump dynasty from happening.
That you're being too kind. I think it's going to go way worse than.
Well, you give them too much credit. You know, people in government are incompetent by their very nature. You know, I think you give them a little too much credit. I do. I just think, you know, Donald Trump and the MAGA movement, the political establishment, view that as a threat to their power, their control over us. And the Republican and Democrat establishment are working together to make sure that the Republicans lose the next two elections. So that they figure Donald Trump and MAGA will fade away if we lose the next two elections, and that's what their goal is. All right, appreciate the call, Andre. I got to run for a break. I'm a little late, but it's 19 minutes after 7. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers at Mike Lindell. He's right. These are the most comfortable slippers I've ever worn. And you can get them for 40% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow My Slippers.
Brian, I have the MyPillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined one.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it affects your balance, and it's painful.
So you're wearing the MyPillow My Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear slippers at home. I can't go barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the MyPillow pillow and the MyPillow mattress topper and the.
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh,
my
man.
wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, 40% off the MyPillow slippers, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free MyPillows with it, so it's great. Well, that's awesome. Order your MyPillow My Slippers 40% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com. Or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Oh, boy. Yes. Welcome back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go back to the phones shortly. You know, the MyPillow My Slippers, still time to order them for Father's Day, which is Sunday. You can have them delivered right to Dad. I have the MyPillow My Slippers. They are the most comfortable slipper I've ever worn in my life. And they have many different styles and colors for both men and women. 40% off with the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Oh, hi, Brian. It's Vanessa.
Hey, Vanessa.
Hey, I was reading Houston Chronicle and going through it about Ivory, the reporter. You pretty much covered it all. It was a short article.
I know.
Project Veritas, watch that tonight.
Well, Project Veritas, they usually do their releases around 11 or 12. And I hope they do it around 11 or 12 today with her. What would be your guess as to what she's got? I think it's got to be border issues because she's Texas.
And on Facebook, I follow a guy. He went down there and journaled and cameraed Will Johnson, and the footage he had was unbelievable. They were literally swimming across the border in the short time that he was there. Can you imagine how many more have come across this?
You know, and I'll tell you this, I would be more specific about what they were covering up. Okay, there was a story I talked about yesterday where the police and the local news wouldn't give the race of a shooter because they didn't want to promote racial stereotypes. The shooter was black in an incident. Because it's local news, I would imagine, my guess, and I could be completely wrong, we'll find out later today, but it would not just be the border issue, it could possibly be crime committed by illegals.
Oh, yes, and that happened in Austin, not Houston, but they're not too far away from each other.
Well, Houston, Texas is Texas. I mean, what's Florida is Florida. Wherever, no, I would think it definitely would probably involve the border and maybe crime because they don't want to promote negative stereotypes. Here's the deal, okay? Obviously, a lot of people that come across the border are good people that just want the great life of America. I get that, but a lot of them. But if you're a criminal in South America, in Central America, and Latin America, and you come to America, you have a whole new identity. You are whoever you say you are. You are as old as you say you are. And they give you all the ID you need, including work permits and everything with your new... They give you a new identity. It's like better than the witness protection program in this country. And it used to be the other way, like Butch and Sundance, right? Went to Bolivia. And they had new names and new identities. But what did they do when they went to Bolivia? After a while, they started robbing the place. Now it's in reverse. And I'm really hoping that what she is going to uncover with Project Veritas is at that level, that it's something important like that.
Oh, yeah, and she says she's not the only reporter being muzzled down there.
Well, but she's the only one coming forward. I mean, she's 32. She's just starting her career, and she's just thrown it away. I mean, she's done.
Yeah, I saw her photo, but the good thing is she's young enough to start over.
Well, she's in media. She's in big trouble in television media. She just is. I mean, but this is that's the thing I throw out there. She's a good person. Okay, I mean, I respect her, but when people are secretly recording people, other people tend to not trust them in the future. So if Newsmax wanted to hire her, she might be a very good hire for Newsmax. I don't know too much about her. She seems pretty sharp, but they may not, because who's to say she's not recording them all the time? I don't like this secret, you know what I mean? So I would be very cautious about hiring someone like that because they could be recording you.
Oh, yeah. I'm real disappointed in our media. I'll tell you what, with what Biden's doing in Europe, I've learned more through Sky News Australia than any of our media.
We have a lot of listeners to this program in Australia that listen to us online and watch us on YouTube. We have so many listeners in Australia. I think Steve and I could do personal appearances in Australia in multiple cities. We have a lot of listeners in Australia. It's amazing to me, and I don't know why that is, but they're MAGA down there. I'll tell you that.
They are, and I've seen them in the chat rooms. They're good.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people we have listening in the UK too, and Canada, but a lot of Australians, a lot, and we've been building up Australians over the past few years to the program. Yeah, it's I guess they want to be free down there.
Right. Yeah.
All right, take care, man. Thanks for the call. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hey, Brian. Robert, Kentucky.
Hey, Robert. What's up?
Yeah, just a couple of things, man. Number one, on the Capitol riot thing, the Democrats definitely don't want this investigated, man. There's stuff coming out now. I saw that video where the guy said, why don't y'all do something?
Well, the thing about the Capitol breach, okay, which I'm totally opposed to what happened there, and I think most people are, good people are, but what I said from the very beginning, you know, Antifa knocked open the doors, and MAGA people did walk in, but a lot of those people didn't know what they were walking into. I think, you know, they're in a crowd. It's moving. You know, you're face to face with people. I think a lot of them kind of got pushed in.
Inviting people in.
I mean, when you're in a crowd like that, you got to go with the herd, or you know. And so I think there's a lot of that. And I'll tell you, some of what I saw in there is pretty disturbing. Okay, those people that went into the chambers and those lunatics and did what they did, but but the one piece of footage that I found the most interesting were the people walking through the Capitol Rotunda, staying in line between the velvet ropes. If they're in there for the what the media say they were in there for, why are they walking in a straight line between the ropes and obeying those kind of rules? It looks like more like a trespassing. You might have a lot of trespassers in there, but trespassing isn't trying to overthrow the government. You know what I mean?
But were they trespassing if the cop is the one waving them in?
That's right. That's correct. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Now, obviously, the people that went into the chamber and were doing what they were doing and going through the desks and sitting in Pence's chair and everything, that's a different thing. But most of those people that were going in, I think, and also a thing they don't want to know us to know about is that Black Lives Matter guy was right at the front line leading them in and encouraging them to go in. The Sullivan, he's the one. The Black Lives Matter guy that was dressed in MAGA clothes is the one who filmed the Ashley Babbitt shooting, and there was a big story last week on him where he's being prosecuted. The government's taken the money that the media paid him. There's a media role in that because he was paid by CNN and maybe NBC, but definitely CNN to go in there. Tucker had a thing last night on the Ashley Babbitt shooting that they think that the Capitol cop that shot her was the one who had left his gun loaded in the men's room a while back before that, which was a high-profile incident. He left his gun laying by the sink or something in the men's room. So an incompetent cop. You know, sometimes, you know, we in the conservative movement we support cops, right? Blue Lives Matter and all that. But a lot of cops are, you see it. I mean, they're government workers, and a lot of government workers are like welfare people, and they're incompetent. And these Capitol Police, there's a lot of questions that they really don't want. The one guy that I'm talking about, that Greg Kelly showed on Newsmax last week, he let in a ton of people. I mean, didn't leave. There's been one I've seen where a couple people down a sidewalk. This guy opened up like a huge path, and dozens and dozens and dozens of people came through, and it was a couple dozen people wide, and I've never seen it from that angle before.
Yeah, the Democrats don't want that investigated because eventually it's going to lead back to who was nimble.
Well, yeah, and there's definitely was some planning that went into that. Who will, we all have suspicions. This Proud Boys thing, there
is whoever it was that's in charge of security for McConnell and Pelosi. I don't know why they haven't talked to those people yet, because they had to know a lot of stuff that was going on.
Growing up, I never was a conspiracy person, like with the Kennedy conspiracies. Like Steve is big into the Kennedy conspiracies, and I never was. I never was. I've even been to Dealey Plaza, and I've stood where Oswald stood. You can't get right there. You get right next to it if you've ever been there, And I've never, until Trump, and then I see what the government does, and now I believe in Kennedy conspiracy theories and things. I don't have a particular one I subscribe to, but I see what the government is all about. That's why, that's why I got a break, but I appreciate the call, Kentucky. If you're on hold, stand by. My name's Brian Craig. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. It's 32 minutes after 7. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
The hot weather, it's in the mid-90s in the middle of the day, and that's what the actual temperature is. The heat index, much higher than that. That means your air conditioner is going to work harder and harder, driving up your electric bill. And on the line, we have Scott from Cut My Kilowatts, who's going to save you big, big money on your electric bill. Tell them how you're going to do it, Scott.
Hey, Brian. Well, we do it with the radiant barrier installation and making sure that none of your air conditioning ducts are leaking into your attic. But I have Rebecca on the line with me, who's a longtime Steve Kane listener, and we had the pleasure of going up and doing a whole attic package for her at her house on Wednesday of this week. And we put all new ducts in for radiant barrier and all new insulation. And she just wants to tell you how her experience was.
Good morning. I wanted to let you know that this morning, first of all, the people that came out, his crew, were very, very polite. And they did the work. It's a very difficult job to go up in an attic, pull out all the old ducts, come in and put in all new ducts, extra additional ducts to make my system work better. I'm in the construction industry. I'm an architect, so I'm familiar with what the cost should be and how much time it takes to do everything. And let me tell you, I was very impressed. And my attic looks like a spaceship up there with all new ducts. They took out the metal duct that was insulated and leaking on my ceiling, and they put in flex stuff, which is what we use now in the industry. But let me tell you, what I paid for the entire package should have cost just to remove the old ductwork and install new ductwork, and I got everything for less than what I thought.
Wow, that's amazing. And when Scott from Cut My Kilowatts brings that radiant barrier into your attic, it pays for itself, because what it does, it cools off your ceiling, cools off your attic, keeps that hot Florida heat that's well over 100 degrees in your attic off of your air conditioning ducts, which means your air conditioner works less to keep your house.
Yeah, like when I get aggravated, a lot of these guys, like Steven Crowder and Tim Pool and everything, they have a whole staff of people that handle everything for them. They just have to talk. And I'm doing everything. So that's why when there's a problem, I get pissed and get frustrated. But, it's life. What the hell are you going to do? There's worse things that can happen.
At the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing?
I have no staff. My daughter, we call my daughter Tech Support. That's my daughter's nickname is Tech Support. Like this watermark thing. I'll get with her today and she'll fix it for me.
855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for www.
All right, we are back. You're on the radio. What's your name? Good morning.
Hey, Brian, it's Barry.
Oh, hey, Attorney Barry Siegel. You caught me off guard, Barry. I'm sorry. Attorney Barry Siegel, who, of course, is our estate planning, elder law, and Medicaid planning attorney. What do you have for us today, Attorney Barry Siegel?
Well, Brian, one of the most common questions I get from people is, what is the difference between a will and a trust? Very often, people think all they need is a will to avoid probate. But the truth is, if you have a will and the assets are in your name, then you're going to go through probate. Even if you're a married couple and you have your assets joined. Well, at the first step, that joint asset will continue to be owned by the surviving spouse. But at the second step, if we only have a will, then we're going to deal with probate. And probate is going to court. It can be very expensive. It can be very time-consuming for your personal representatives. It's a public process, and you have some judge who doesn't know you or your family involved making decisions. Whereas with a revocable living trust, you set up the trust, you fund the trust with your assets, and now you don't have to deal with the probate process. You don't have to deal with all the probate costs, the judges, the court, the fact that it's public, it's very private. So that's one of the key differences between a will and a trust. A trust is also, as I mentioned, a private document, and you have what are called successor trustees who can step in and make decisions during incapacity, whereas with a will, it only becomes effective at death, so it's not helping.
Yeah, and And if you don't have a revocable living trust and you only have a will, or your trust is not properly funded and set up, your surviving spouse, believe me, you guys know what it's like. If they remarry, that becomes marital property that the new spouse is going to get if things aren't properly set. That happens a lot, right, Barry Siegel? Oh, yeah.
Of nightmare issues that happen when people don't plan properly.
Yeah, oh, yeah. It absolutely is. Listen, give attorney Barry Siegel's office a call. It's a completely free consultation with the Siegel Law Group when you mention you heard them on the Steve Kane Show. The number, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry, I'm going to send you a text later, and just to keep you aware of something that's going on. Okay, no big deal, but I just got to send you a text. So keep an eye out for it. All right, take care. All right, we are back. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Okay.
Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Joellen from Fort Lauderdale.
Hey, Joellen, what's up?
When you were talking about the Capitol breach, those people you're saying they were being herded, with all the other people.
Mm-hmm.
I was there, and they all made that decision to climb over a wall, go up those steps, and enter the Capitol. So,
well, no, there's different levels of people. There's different levels. There's people. There are people who climb the walls and climb through windows and things like this. But there were also people that were in a group that were kind of herded through up the steps. I mean, it's like, you're old enough to remember festival seating at concerts. You know what I'm talking about? There used to be incidents at concerts where you didn't have an assigned seat. You just had a seat to get in. And there were a couple of incidents where kids were killed. They were stomped to death by the mob. And if you're in a large group of people with hundreds of people, and you're in that crowd, you've got to go with the crowd or you're dead. It's like a stampede. So there's some of that in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that. I said.
Yeah, well, that's the
maybe once you were in the Capitol, maybe if they couldn't if they didn't want to.
Well, of the people that have been identified publicly and talked about, none of them have been I haven't seen anyone identified that climbed the wall or broke and went through the windows. It's all been other people, and some of the people.
From the side I was on, you had to climb over a wall.
No, you did not have to climb over a wall. They have steps. You've heard of the Capitol steps? It's the Capitol steps, very famous American landmark. Most of those people walked up the Capitol steps, and I'm not justifying it. Going in there is wrong. But I had if you're in that crowd, you've got to go with the crowd or you get stomped on. I mean, so there is definitely some of that.
Yeah, I don't know, but
if you watch the video footage, you'll see some of what I'm talking about. Going in that building was wrong. But people that went inside committed different level. Listen, I was shocked to learn from Marjorie Taylor Greene a few weeks ago. You know how many people went in the building?
No.
What's your guess? How many do you think?
300.
Well, it was a little more than 800. I thought it was a couple thousand. And there's about 500 in custody. And they're gonna have and according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, pick up about another 100. So they're gonna get about 600 in custody. But let's just say, I'm not saying this is true, but just for the discussion, that all 800 were MAGA people, which is not true. The majority of them were, but a significant amount were not. But let's just say that they're all MAGA, just for the discussion, 800 people. We're going to judge 75 or 80 million Americans based on the actions of 800? There's more than 800 Hispanics in the Florida State Prison. Are we going to judge Hispanic people because of what 800 Hispanics have done? I don't think so. I think it's textbook stereotyping.
Yeah, I'm with you as far as, it was wrong. I know that, and I know you feel like that. But what I did see, there was a big platform because they were doing the construction. There was a guy up there with a megaphone, and he was trying to get everybody to come in. I mean, he was on the loudspeaker and trying to attract everybody to come.
Well, yeah, and identifying that guy is important. And who's that guy? And you're telling me they can't identify him? Come on.
Yeah.
And if that guy had been arrested, we'd know about it. We'd know about that guy, And who is he? Was he MAGA? Was he Antifa? I don't know. I mean, and the very idea, the other piece of footage that I think is most revealing are the guys that broke the window. The Capitol was breached. A couple of guys wearing black and having like police gear on, busted the window to the right of the front door, climbed through, and then opened the door from the inside. Who were those guys? And they weren't dressed like MAGA.
Yeah, I don't know if I said this before, but there was we were on the other side of the wall, and there was a policeman that we didn't know what happened to him, but some people had to help him over the wall, come back into our crowd, but he looked like he was, like something had happened to him, and I said, God, why would they bring him through this crap?
Yeah.
Had the heart attack. I don't.
Oh, maybe could have been. It very well could have been. All right, thanks for the call. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hello.
Yes, you're on the air. What's your name?
Brian, it's Sandra from Boca.
Hey, Sandra. What's up?
Well, I just wanted to reflect back a couple things you said about half hour, 45 minutes ago about the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Pledge of Allegiance was taken out of the school because of the controversial line, under God, indivisible.
No, that's not. There was a federal. That's not true. There was a lawsuit with that guy Newdow that was a California-based issue, and that involved just California. And in the long run, I don't even think that won in the higher courts. No. I just don't. If the Pledge of Allegiance is not being said in your child's school, that's a choice made by your school district. I don't know if they are or not anymore.
I think something. I want to say something. There was a friend of mine who was in the hospital, and he said to me, "You know what? There's no Bibles here in this hospital." He says, "Can you go down the street to Target and go get me one?" I said, "Sure." So I go down the street to Target. I walk in. I go to their book section. You got every book there you can imaginable, from violence to you name it. So this kid is walking by, and I said, "Can you please tell me where your Bibles are?" He goes, "Oh, we don't sell them anymore."
At Walmart.
And it was a Target.
Oh, a Target.
I said for 30 seconds, and he looked at me like I was the one who was crazy. I'm serious. And I said, "You don't sell a Bible? You're kidding me." He goes, "No." He goes, "We don't sell them anymore."
I don't know what that phone ringing in the background is. That Big Brother trying to clamp down on you? I've seen Bibles. I've seen Bibles at Walmart, but they're typically in Spanish. But you come to think of it, Target, I haven't seen a Bible in. I always check out the book section in Target when I go in, and it's always liberal books. It's always they got Chris Wallace, they got Obama.
Trend I was seeing.
Yeah, it's all liberal books at Target now.
Yeah, and I was just like looking at him, and he was looking at me like I was the one who was crazy. So it looks like there's this absence of them taking God out of the picture. At Walmart, I went to Walmart, and there were two. And I don't think that, honestly, between you and me, it was because of low inventory.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what they're stocking. And the rest.
Well, Target, I'm Catholic. We Catholics, we're like into candles, and we buy the Catholic candles at Walmart all the time. Target has Christian stuff because we're always buying our Catholic candles at Walmart, But I'll tell you about the Bibles. I don't know about Target, but about Walmart. I see Bibles at Walmart. So many people have gone digital with books now. Bibles are on people's phones now. So, my wife and I, we have so many Bibles in my house because my wife, she's always, not only does she read the Bible, but she always is making notes in it. So we can't donate them because she's making notes in all of them. So we don't know what she's written. We don't want to give away Bibles to people that have notes in them. We have so many Bibles in our house. We have boxes and boxes of Bible because you can't throw them away. It's the Bible, and you can't give them away because my wife's got all her notes from reading the Bibles in them. It's so I've got an overabundance. I've got more Bibles than some churches possibly in my house. Well, the problem is I don't read them. My wife gets upset with me because I don't really read the Bible at all, and she gets very upset with me about it. I know I should, but but I don't.
Remain prayerful. I think that's.
Well, I am that. I pray all the time. Yeah.
Day. I pray every day for what's going on out there. So you.
Yeah.
Do.
Indeed. All right. Hey, listen. Thanks for the call. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to take our last break of the second hour, and come back with your calls and more topics after this. Don't go anywhere.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Attention seniors, Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your prescriptions are filled. They'll review your doctor's bills to make sure they are correct. If you're in the hospital and you need an advocate to get the care you need, I Will Advocates, they'll do that too. They'll handle your Medicare and Medicaid applications, and that's just the beginning. They do a lot more too. Give Debbie and her team at I Will Advocates a call right now. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Online, iwilladvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Hey guys, Brian Craig here. Here on the Steve Kane Show, we love hearing from our listeners talk about their great experiences with our sponsors. Here's Rebecca talking about the MyPillow. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca.
Good morning. I just wanted to know, Steve and Brian, that I've been listening to you. I'm 57 years old. I've been listening to you since I'm 21.
Wow.
Just so you know, and this is my first time calling. I ordered MyPillow, and let me tell you, I thought it was just a, marketing tool saying that you sleep better at night. Oh my God. I'm here to attest that it is the truth. I sleep so much better. I can't even tell you. So I want everyone out there to believe that when people say you sleep better, you really do. And I've been having a lot of issues at night, and I've bought expensive pillows and, cheap pillows, and this has really made a difference.
Listen to Rebecca. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, and have the best night's sleep you've ever had with your MyPillow or one of the other great products that you'll find there. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
All right, we are back. There's only one opening on the board at 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. I got a Mike Lindell update I'm going to mention in the next hour. Just a little mental note to myself. And I just got word. You with us, Steve? All right, and we're joined by Steve Kane. All right, there's only one opening at 1-888-GO-KANE 1. So let's just go to the phones, and then we'll sprinkle in some things as we go. You're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name?
My name is John. Good morning.
Hey, John.
Hey, John. What's up? A lot of people aren't aware of this, but every Mason that becomes a Mason, when he becomes a Mason, is given a Bible, and that Bible is his for the rest of his life. In there's a portion there for everybody to sign, whoever was at that particular event.
Oh.
So
what event? At what event?
When he becomes a Mason.
Oh, at the Mason. Oh, okay. All right. It's like a christening.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's like that's when a man becomes a Mason. There's three different steps to becoming a Mason.
Well, I don't want to get into all masonry stuff. Are you a Mason or something? Oh, okay, okay. So what do you do as a Mason? What do you do for a living specifically?
What we're called inoperative Masons.
What did you say? What did you say?
Inoperative Masons or speculative Masons. We don't build buildings. We do all kinds of stuff. Everybody does everything. There's people that are in construction. There's lawyers. There's doctors.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, listen. Appreciate the call. Take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Yeah. Good morning, Brian and Steve. This is Richie.
Richie, how are you?
Great. You say prayers are out of school. I don't know if you caught that segment of in Virginia. I think it's Fairfax, Virginia. A lady in the school board, she said to the students when they graduated, the hatred of the United States. She was a Muslim woman.
You talking about the jihadi graduation? Yeah.
They said that every morning before school starts, they say pledge to Allah. Now, this is an American school with a school board member, and it's mostly immigrant kids who are not assimilating, and it's taught America is terrible. I mean, this is really, I don't even know what to say anymore. When I saw that, I almost, Laura Ingram had it on last night.
Yeah, I saw it a couple days ago over the weekend, yeah. I know. I think I talked about it on the air yesterday. Yeah.
Come on.
Well, when I was in school, it wasn't that long ago. It was a long time ago, but not that long ago. We not only did we pray in school, it was Christian prayers, and it was done pretty openly, and it was public schools. Like the one time in particular that I remember we had the most public prayer in school was before football games, and they would do a prayer, and it was Christian prayers before the football game because kids get killed and paralyzed in football. And I remember when they were taking prayer out of school, I remember seeing the bumper stickers, let our kids pray with the praying hands and everything, yeah, but prayer and prayer is not outlawed in public schools, but it has to be student-led. It can't be led by faculty, yeah.
You saw what
I saw.
Ron DeSantis yesterday, what he signed, giving schools 2 minutes of prayer and any choice they want.
Well, that would include. Wait a minute. That would include Allah, Richie.
I don't care about that. It's being taught. It's being.
Richie, let me ask you a question. To get into some maybe a little fresh territory here. Did you see the president speak yesterday, Biden?
Yes, and it was this disgrace. And I watched how he couldn't even.
All right, wait. Hang on 1 second. Can you say there was a major difference between the speech he gave yesterday and those that have been going on for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Was it worse?
Well,
how would you describe it?
I thought that he was sharper, slower, and then I thought he got lost. I thought he had to stop and think. I almost probably.
Well, I have one clip. I was saving it for you. Let me play this clip, and he froze. Well, we got time though. We got time. Yeah. So let me play. We got about 5 minutes. Let me play this. This is Biden. He had a brain freeze for about 10 seconds. Listen.
What did you say to Vladimir Putin?
To answer the first question, I'm laughing too. Well, look, I mean, he has made clear that
he's lost. Lost.
Totally. It was a shock.
The answer is, I believe he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was, there are certain things that he would do or did do.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just all filler there. And it was 10 seconds of being lost. I mean, he's got his finger on the button, this guy.
It's the first time, wait, Richie, it's the first time, it'll be very memorable to me, because it stands out in my mind. The first time I ever saw Biden where I was afraid for him. All of a sudden I got a sense this is
me
and my country. This is all who stands between
us here in America and this wolf
Yeah.
And I felt very.
Well, you should, Steve, and there's something to add to that. Something happened yesterday with Biden because was it 2.5 or 3 hours late that he was? It was 3 hours late. So that was after he was 3 hours late.
Ever find anything out about that?
No.
They mentioned that it was because Ukraine was trying to get into the.
No, that wasn't it. That's a diversion. There was something happened because when he came out, he was having. We used to call them senior moments. We call them Biden moments now. But he was 3 hours late, no explanation, and then that happened. So no, something happened.
Well, did you also see when they showed that when he was over there, he was eating and he walked over to a table to start talking to people, and his wife grabbed him. Pulled him away. He looked like a guy.
He was lost. He didn't know where he was. He was about to eat off of other people's plates. It was bad. It was really bad. It was scary. It was very scary.
Well, that's like something in a movie that you would see with an old man.
There's.
It's bad. Steve, it's really bad.
Well, it's beyond bad. It's beyond bad. They've got to do something about it. I mean, they're not. Well, they got through the trip. They're going home today, right?
Yeah.
Oh, is that
you know what you know the crap he agreed to? They loved it. They loved it.
So what's he going to do, Steve? Rest for a few weeks? I mean,
No. But what I'm saying is, look, hey, it's not my. Well, it is my problem. I was going to say
it's all of our problems. Yeah.
All of our problems. And yesterday, for the first time, I had that feeling that this man was representing me not very well. And it was very...
Well, another thing about this, then we got a break, but America has been attacked by Russia twice recently, right? These hacking things, the meat plant and the gas lines. The cyber attacks are out of Russia. I believe it was the Russians doing a test. And this is the guy who is standing up to Putin that after we've been attacked twice in the last couple of weeks. This is, we're in trouble. And we've got... Kamala is next in line of succession here. I mean, we're in bigger trouble with her than him.
Don't realize he's not asking Fox. If you noticed lately,
he's not what?
They not get called. They don't get called at all.
Fox, they're not on the list. Yeah, because Ducey. Yeah, because all right, Richie, take care. Listen, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to take our break. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. We got a Mike Lindell update too. We got to get to.
And I want to take some more on this. I want to know if I'm the only one that had that extreme reaction.
I think America did yesterday. I can't imagine. And yeah,
our audience is here for it.
Listen, our number is toll free from anywhere. Yeah, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. It's a toll free call no matter where you are listening to us from. We'll be back with the third and final hour after this.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Attention seniors, Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your prescriptions are filled. They'll review your doctor's bills to make sure they are correct. If you're in the hospital and you need an advocate to get the care you need, I Will Advocates, they'll do that too. They'll handle your Medicare and Medicaid applications, and that's just the beginning. They do a lot more too. Give Debbie and her team at I Will Advocates a call right now. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Online, IWillAdvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Did you know that 2 out of 5 Americans suffer from some kind of allergy? So it's likely that fatigue, runny nose, headaches, intestinal problems, and a general lousy feeling can be connected to an allergy. Any lab tests now of Boca Raton offer allergy tests that can detect over 125 airborne, food, and environmental allergens. Allergy testing is quick, easy, and painless. Results can be shared with your physician or an allergist. No doctor's order or prescription is necessary. No appointment either. Just walk right in. Any lab test now of Boca Raton is located at 23016 Sandalfoot Plaza on the east side of 441, just a few doors down from Western Beach.
Okay, I went through this in the first hour of the show. I added the window for when a super chat is given. It pops up on the screen, and it's frozen in the center of the screen.
You heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
And I can't fix it while I'm on the air.
At the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now...
All right, third hour has begun, and yeah, and I want to say any lab tests now of Boca and Coral Springs. There's lots of any lab tests nows around. Those are the only 2 advertising on the Steve Kane Show, and they guarantee the lowest price on all of their thousands of lab tests. I went in the other day for some tests for my doctor because I went in just quite by accident and found out I got a problem about a month ago, and I'm doing some follow-up. Also, travel's back, and I know for different types of travel, you need to have COVID testing, and some of you have to have regular COVID testing for your job. Every COVID test you could possibly imagine or need, they have over at any lab test now with Boca and Coral Springs. They do the saliva test, so you don't have to get the injection. They have that available. They're both listed at stevekaneshow.com, and they're open Monday through Saturday. All right, our number, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. You want to go back to the phones?
Let's do it.
All right. You're on the air. Good morning. What's your name?
Ron, I have a question. Did you hear about...
Do I what?
ELM.
What about them?
They changed what it stands for now?
Oh, okay. Get ready for a punchline. Go ahead. What's it stand for? Yeah, an attempt. Well, attempt. Go ahead, call. Where's the funny part there? You've been on hold for about 15 minutes. Oh.
Gonna hit the punch words. Lettuce.
Oh.
Bacon.
Oh my goodness, pathetic. Leave the jokes to the professionals, people. Leave the jokes. Oh yeah, I want to tell people about Mike Lindell, our great sponsor from My Pillow. I've been telling you guys about Mike Lindell. He's doing something amazing in July. He is putting together and it's going to be public on Frank's Speech. He is putting together a public summit of computer tech people. And he is inviting anyone with technical expertise to attend. And it's going to be an open thing that he's doing. And he's even inviting governors and other elected officials. This is going to be a massive event that he's putting together next month. And Well, we'll get to that later. But he's putting together this huge Trump summit at an undisclosed location. He'll announce it, and it's not going to be. It's going to be public. He hasn't announced the location yet. At least I've missed it. But I think I'll be watching. It's going to be out of state, so I don't know. Can I have a week off? I'll go. But it's going to be somewhere in America. I don't know where. But it's going to be live online at Frank's Speech, and he is promising some major revelations, and it involves his lawsuits. I don't know what it's about exactly, but it's going to be a massive event that he's organizing. He told someone in an interview yesterday about this, Mike Lindell, so take a look at that. Oh, they won't carry it on TV. It will not be on TV. It'll be online.
Say that.
Because they won't carry anything with Mike Lindell on TV.
Oh, come on. What America? You keep...
One American News may carry it, but it'll be on his online platform, Frank's Speech. There's no doubt about that. Like his rally over the weekend that he had in Wisconsin was on Frank's Speech, But he is planning. I don't know what he has up his sleeve, but he is promising something very, very big. Mike Lindell.
His arm, more than his arm.
And it's more than a MyPillow, I must tell you. But it's something. I don't know exactly what, but it's going to be a huge tech stuff. And he's actually calling on tech people to come and join his cause, whatever. And so this is it's going to be an exciting time. Well, this I was talking about this in the first hour of the show. This Project Veritas is going to have a major release today from this Fox News reporter. And let me play this audio. This is just a crazy thing that's happening. Now, Project Veritas, James O'Keefe, have had a series of insiders, whistleblowers, that have come forward from different outlets. Sometimes it's been CNN, sometimes it's been Facebook and other things that have been talking about internal practices that have been going on to silence the right and different things, and it's been a very interesting series. And then they dropped a bombshell yesterday. This young field reporter for a Fox News affiliate in Houston, Texas, the anchors in the studio introduce her, throw a story to her. She's supposed to talk about the hot weather of Texas and air conditioning repair or something. And she went on a rant. And pretty big revelation. Now, you're not going to see this on Fox News today, people, because it involves Fox News. But here's the exchange. Listen to this.
Outages across the region. Fox 26 reporter Ivory is live in Montgomery County to take a look at that aspect. Thanks, guys. That's right. Before we get to that story, I want to let you, the viewers, know that Fox Corp has been muzzling me to keep certain information from you, the viewers. And from what I'm gathering, I am not the only reporter being subjected to this. I am going to be releasing some recordings about what goes on behind the scenes at Fox because it applies to you, the viewers. I found a nonprofit journalism group called Project Veritas. It's going to help put that out tomorrow, so tune into them. But as for this heat wave across Texas, you can see what it's doing to.
Okay, then back into the heat wave, and I imagine in the studio they were freaking out when she went rogue here on TV, and apparently it was reported later after they released that video, Project Veritas, that she's been recording at people at work for quite some time, and these without their knowledge. And these recordings are what are going to start to become public at Project Veritas later today. And I think, because the Fox Corp, which owns Fox News, owns these local affiliates. And since she's in Houston, my guess is they've been silencing reporters on reporting on border issues, in particular crime issues related to people jumping the border. And this is going to be a big series that is going to really expose the mainstream, so-called conservative media of Fox. This is going to be exciting stuff today.
They're going to play it on Fox. Where are they going to play it?
YouTube, Twitter. It's going to be online. Probably, it may be, I expect it to be on Newsmax, because Newsmax has a lot of ex-Fox, a lot of disgruntled Fox people work at Newsmax. Greg Kelly, Heather Childers, Bob Sellers. There's a lot of ex-Fox people over at Newsmax, so I'm hoping they'll jump on it. This is expected to be one of the biggest Project Veritas stories in the last few years.
To do with the border.
Well, I only think that because she's in Houston. She's a local reporter in Houston, Texas, And she says that she has been silenced on stories that have to be involving Texas, and I would think the border and crime related to it. I don't know. Well, she said there's other reporters too have been silenced by Fox. So my first guess would be border because of where she's at in Houston. And she has a history of covering political stories in Texas, national stories, national political stories in Texas. So I don't know. It's going to be pretty exciting. Now, Project Veritas hasn't said what time they're going to release it. They usually release around 11 or 12. 11 in the morning, 12 noon. I'm hoping. I saw one story that said this evening. I hope it's not this evening. I can't, the suspense is killing me. But she's a young reporter. She's young reporter just starting out, and she has basically thrown her career away. I'm sure they took her off the air after that. I don't think she'll be back on the local Fox affiliate today. Wouldn't you think?
You never know.
No. After she did that, who's going to hire her? I mean, she just threw her career away.
Yeah, it would appear that way.
Yeah. So for a young reporter, she's 32, to throw her career away, she either must have a rich husband or she has a really big bombshell expose she wants to get out there. It's got to be one or the other. I don't know which it is. We'll find out today. But the problem with Veritas is they always start with the least, and then they have several days of releases, and the big finale comes at the end. So the first one might be a little disappointing. They should do it in reverse a little bit and have a big release on day one to get people interested in the series. But it's got to be something big. Got to be something big. All right. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
This is Dee in Newport News.
Hey, Dee.
Ivory Hecker.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the Fox reporter, Ivory Hecker. Yes.
Yes, Dee. Go ahead.
We have a bad connection with you. I can't hear you. No, not you, Steve. The caller.
Get her back.
I got her on the line, but we're having a hard time. We got a bad connection with you, Dee.
Anything.
Yeah, you know what, Dee? Hang up and call back in. All right, we'll take our break anyway, and then I'll see, because Dee wants to talk about Ivory Hecker. So, all right, 1-888-GO-CANE1 is the number. 888-465-2631. We'll take our first break at the third hour and be back with your calls after this.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are state of Florida certified roofing and general contractors focusing on residential and commercial roofing, impact windows, and building restoration. The 2021 hurricane season is upon us. If you have noticed any water stains on your ceiling, or if your roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to Champagne Automotive, and I got to say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. You know, it belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before was charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I got to say that this man fixed the car. It's running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly recommend Eddie, and he is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes. It's fixed. It's fixed, and the price was right.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
If you suffer with diabetes, there's a 25% chance that you'll develop a foot ulcer that can lead to severe health consequences, including amputation. At the sole authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own therapeutic shoes and custom inserts. Medicare recipients are entitled to 1 pair of quality diabetic shoes and 3 custom inserts. Call the sole authority today, 954-597-7060.
Attention seniors, Debbie from I Will Advisors has launched I Will Advocates. I Will Advocates will make all of your doctor's appointments for you, handle your pharmacy issues, including refills, billing problems. They'll even make sure your prescriptions are filled. They'll review your doctor's bills to make sure they are correct. If you're in the hospital and you need an advocate to get the care you need, I Will Advocates, they'll do that too. They'll handle your Medicare and Medicaid applications, and that's just the beginning. They do a lot more too. Give Debbie and her team at I Will Advocates a call right now, 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214. Online, IWillAdvocates.com. Never worry about your health care ever again. Let I Will Advocates handle everything for you. 954-345-1214. 954-345-1214.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Search for WWN.
Oh, man. All right, we are back. It is 18 minutes after the hour. It says here that this is on the Fox reporter, Ivory Hecker. It says she has recordings, plural, that she's given to Project Veritas. So what they must be recordings of her bosses telling her what stories she cannot cover. I cannot wait to see. And by the way, every news story that does cover this refers to Project Veritas as a far-right group. First off, what's wrong with being far-right? Is that a negative? I mean, CNN's a far liberal news organization. I mean, I don't. Now, there's a story today that I don't know if it's going to get much coverage. Biden, he's not coming home. He was supposed to head off to meet the Pope, and he was going to have Mass. He was going to attend Mass with the Pope. And it's been canceled. And it's... Well,
called you a little after, 2 o'clock?
Yeah.
And I said, Biden's 2 hours late.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, something's going on. Something's going on.
It's, they regularly run 20 minutes behind this and that. But
3 hours? I've never seen that.
They weren't addressing it at that point.
Well, the meeting, the Mass was with the Pope was supposed to be today, and they canceled it. And they didn't cancel it due to health. The Pope has said that Biden is not allowed to take Holy Communion, because of his support of abortion. And they didn't want to have a situation where Biden was refused communion from the Pope. And the Pope's liberal on a lot of things, like global warming, but he's not liberal when it comes to abortion. That's right. And I was really looking forward to that because I wanted to see if the Pope allowed him to receive Holy Communion or if he refused to get, but we're never going to know now. And I think Biden's people were either told or were afraid he was going to be denied communion. And this is a big deal, by the way.
That in and of itself might be a point.
Oh, no, I've been waiting for this the whole trip. This was going to be the highlight to me. And I know a lot of you that aren't Catholic, it's no big deal. Oh, communion, we do that, It's a big deal. Oh, to his health?
It goes back to yesterday, and it was, what we're talking about, it was the fact that he was having problems getting, usually they prop him up and get him ready to, go on stage, and they were having a problem reviving him yesterday.
Well, what they always do, they even did this with Trump. Trump's doctor talked about this, Ronnie Jackson, who's in Congress now. When they travel abroad, they give them all stimulants, the president and the staff, because the time zones, and they need to be alert. And whatever they don't have enough stimulants to give them. He just can't. That yesterday he was asleep. That something happened health-wise. You think there was an incident?
I think when they go 3 hours without even referring to it that he's running late, because they didn't. There was no talk about it. I was listening to see if they were going to give greater detail, and they didn't.
Yeah. Well, they got this cover story about Ukraine wanting to enter NATO. Don't buy that. That's not what happened. First of all, Biden wouldn't even be involved in that at that point. That's
the first time I felt bad.
Yeah.
The 3 million of us. I felt bad for Biden yesterday.
Really?
I watched that last. He was really. It was sad. It was really. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Humphrey Bogart in what movie?
I don't know.
You always do that. You don't even try.
I don't know what movie. I haven't seen too many Humphrey Bogart.
The Kane Mutiny court martial.
Well, he wasn't asleep in the Kane Mutiny. He just had a mental break.
That's what I saw yesterday. It was like a mental break.
Oh, no. I think he probably had a collapse from exhaustion because he's had to work for a few days in a row all day with these meetings. I think he just collapsed out of exhaustion. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. But I will never know because the press won't even ask.
Yeah, eventually they'll...
The press came up with the cover story. You know, Fox News did something interesting, though, during this wait period. They did something which was very interesting. I was watching Fox, and their reporter over there, I don't know who it was, but their reporter, they did a very interesting story while they were waiting for Biden. They were talking about how Putin took power from Boris Yeltsin because I'd forgotten about Boris Yeltsin, frankly. But he was having a lot of health problems at the end where he couldn't make appearances, and he was also drunk half the time. And they were talking about how he was... Fox, this was live on Fox. You guys might have seen this while you were waiting for Biden to come out or find out what was going on. It was a national crisis there. But this guy on Fox said that Boris Yeltsin's health was so poor that the press were standing by every day for the worst news because they didn't know if he was going to make it or if he could or what. You know, and I thought that was kind of a signal from Fox News that this reporter over there with Biden, that he had some inside word that there was a health issue with Biden yesterday, that they weren't, for whatever reason, able to. You know, it's amazing, the media, these people act like they all want to be Woodward and Bernstein, but really what they're in the media of is covering up stories. They have story, like this story with Biden being 3 hours late is massive yesterday.
In the case of... In this case, that happens to be true, because there's a lot to cover up.
No, that was Gorbachev. See, but they forgot Boris Yeltsin. Gorbachev was the one with the birthmark, okay? Yeltsin was the fat guy after. But yeah, and this thing today with the Pope is a big story. They're not. There's a question here. Is he not showing up because of his health, because of yesterday, or he's going to be denied communion for his support of the abortion? And the media... Oh, the president's schedule's changed today. He's skipping mass. The media are just, they're all corrupt. They're just corrupt lowlives and a poison on our society. Well, nothing good comes out of them. I mean, there's a big story here with Biden yesterday, and let me see what they got on the Fox News website, okay? Because that's where you would expect. Let me see what they have up there, because Biden disregards tradition and attacks Trump. Something about Atlanta, the NFL. Nothing about him being 3 hours late. And why? I mean, they should be all over it. If Trump was 3 hours late, they'd be all over it.
This is more than that. I mean, there are no winners here. I mean, there's no good scenario. I'm telling you of what they're covering up.
You think it was? You don't think it was just exhaustion?
Was ill, very ill for the immediate future. I mean, when you just look at the players, that's all you have to do. Look at the players. On our side, the vice president, right?
Kamala. Yeah.
Right under Kamala, in case something happens to
Willie Brown. Oh, you said under Kamala. I thought Willie Brown. The video that Richie was talking about, I don't know how many of you have seen this, but Jill Biden's in front of the group talking, and Biden's behind her talking to this group at a table. I mean, he was lost. He didn't know where he was or what was going on. He was lost and confused, and she had to bring him over. It was really, it was a bad moment. It was a really bad and scary moment. I mean, he was totally checked out at this thing with Jill yesterday. Yeah, I'm surprised they're not coming back early and concocting some fake emergency.
So who's minding the store? Who's running things?
Jill Biden. Yeah.
Jill Biden.
Yeah, she's running things.
Where does this fantasy come from?
Well, wives usually run the household.
Wives are in the house. That's not the same thing. It's Jill Biden running the government.
Yeah. No, I didn't. No, I've thought that for a while. I think it was Joe Biden's idea to make Kamala the border czar, because she knew what a disaster that would be. She hates Kamala. And there was she's got the ear of Biden, and he's the boss, whether I like it or not. Well, yeah, she did when she put they put out there was a photograph that came out a couple days ago of Jill that I couldn't believe that they put out. She was sitting at Biden's desk on Air Force One with the flight jacket that presidents wear with the presidential seal on it. It had the seal behind her, the jacket behind her, and she was sitting at Biden's desk doing paperwork. I couldn't believe they released this, and it was strange. It was just a strange thing. Well, then who's running the show then, Steve?
I think the people that are running the show at this point, I think for a while, I think Biden had a deal of input. But at this point, the people running the show are people whose names we do not know.
Oh, the bureaucracy? We're on automatic pilot?
There are still people high up, but that you still don't know their name.
No. I would say Jill is running the day today with Biden. I would say.
Based on no evidence whatsoever.
I know. I gave you a couple, but you don't want to hear it. This thing, she set up Kamala Harris with the border czar thing. I have no doubt about that.
For that,
what we got proof of? We don't have proof that Biden had an incident yesterday.
It's not a fact.
It's an educated opinion based on what I'm seeing.
Biden was in on the Kamala thing.
Yeah.
I think they was attempting to get him up.
Mm-hmm. And screw her at the same time. They hate Kamala. She embarrassed Biden at that first debate. They hate her. So, all right, well, let's take some calls. What do you all think? 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We'll take one or two, and then we'll break. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name?
Good morning. This is Bill.
Oh, we had two phone problems in a row, so I'm starting to think it's on our end. Yeah, try again, Bill.
I'm going back to what you said a few weeks ago about Biden and
People with dementia and short-term memory, but he remembers things in the past.
What did you say? People with dementia?
Dementia.
Okay.
And I believe that Biden's staff has always done that to him whenever he screwed up in the past.
Not like this. I mean, I thought he was going to sit down at that table and start eating their food yesterday. Those strangers, when Jill was talking. You see that video?
Yes.
Okay. Did that look like a normal Biden? Something's changed.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And what's changed is his condition, and the change is that it's gotten worse. Nothing hard to follow there.
He just doesn't always know where he's at.
So who do you think is running things, caller? I say Jill Biden.
I think Jill has a big part in it.
Yeah. Steve doesn't agree. Steve thinks unknown, the smoking man from X-Files.
Joe had a larger part of it up until recently, but the last couple of weeks he is deteriorated.
Yeah.
Because these things get worse, not better.
Well, what's happened is when he's at the White House, he can sleep half the day, hang out. This G7 has been all-day stuff for several days in a row, and it's taken its toll on him.
Well, he's an old man, and
Yeah, well, yeah, that's but you.
Joe Biden. How old is Joe Biden?
I'll look real quick. I think I do, but let me look. Same age as Trump.
Trump's young.
76.
Trump just turned 75 yesterday. He's 78. Yeah, he's 3 years older than Trump.
And I'm older than all of them.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, caller. Appreciate it. All right, one more call, then we'll break. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Brian and Steve. This is Dee.
Oh, hey, Dee. We got you back, Dee. Go ahead.
Good, yeah. So I wanted to say something about Ivory Hecker. So she had given a statement to Newsweek explaining why she had made claims against Fox during yesterday's broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that after she interviewed a, quote, unspecified person in August of 2020, her relationship with her network, she says, took a dark turn. And she said that they decided that they didn't like what her interview subject had said.
Well, wait a minute. August of last year, and was it Trump, because she did cover Trump in Houston.
Did she cover him in August last?
I don't know the date, but I know that she did a story on Trump. That was a high-profile story, and you're saying August. I'll see if I can find out when she interviewed Trump, and see if there's a connection there.
Right after that interview, she said they decided that they didn't like what the interview subject had said, and that they went on to internally harass and defame her. And then at that point, she knew that she wasn't working for a journalistic organization, and that HR had called her into their office in December, and she was told to keep her support for free speech and opposition to censorship to herself, and that those were not matters.
All right, so the negatives are not against Trump.
We don't know who she interviewed in August. I got to see if I can find when she interviewed Trump. Well, here's the thing, Dee. Free speech doesn't mean you get a job at a TV station and they give you a camera crew and a mic and say, go do your thing. Reporters are given assignments, okay? And there's no freedom with reporters at a news organization. That's just not how free speech works. And the First Amendment protections are for the government, not companies and private companies and employers controlling your speech. It's for the government not to control your speech. So I don't think it's a free speech.
I believe this thing would be so old and create such a stir at the same time. I would say it's more recent. I would say my guess would be it's something to do with the border.
And that might have been the beginning of something that happened in August, but there must, for her to toss her career away like that, it's got to be bigger than something in August.
This has been going on.
Somehow I don't.
Yeah, this was 10 months ago, so I think she's been getting harassed probably repeatedly. But my takeaway on what she said is that when she interviewed that person in August, that she made it clear that she was against censorship, and that is what started her, rolling down the wrong avenue with her boss.
Well, that means that she's a Trump supporter.
That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. If I'm looking online and I cannot find when she covered Trump. I'm not sure if she interviewed Trump or if she covered him in town. But if someone knows what she did in August, I'd like to know, because I can't find anything specific. But I'm on the air and I can't dedicate a lot of time to searching while I'm on the air talking here. But so we got a timeline.
I do think that she is well aware that she has just made a choice to get out of journalism, because she knows she doesn't have a choice, and she made that decision. I have a feeling that's the last we're going to see of her.
That's ominous.
Well, these whistleblowers that go to Project Veritas, they all throw away their careers. These tech people that work at the social media companies, they're done after that. The CNN insider, this one CNN guy spent better part of a year recording everybody at work, and then he releases it. So they give up a lot for Project Veritas, and I don't know if oftentimes they realize how much they're giving up.
Young so she may not realize
Well, she's young and hot, so she can get a guy to take care of her. She doesn't need to work. If she decided she never wanted to work again,
chauvinist.
Steve, come on. If she decided she never wanted to work again, she could lock that up any day of the week.
Yeah, I have a feeling that she made a little decision to just walk away.
All right. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. All right, Dee, thanks. Some information. We got a timeline. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, hey, Brian. It's Mike Heister from
Mike, yeah.
Two things that I noticed watching coverage of his meeting over in Europe. He looked, if you watched his eyes very closely, he had that look in his eyes that people who are heavily sedated had, and his reactions were extremely delayed, very lethargic. So he's on something. They're giving him something.
Well, why would they sedate somebody in a situation like that and then come out and do a press conference? Wouldn't they want to lift him up and give him an upper?
Yeah, again, that makes sense to me. But if you again look at his eyes, it looks like his pupils are really dark.
So what do you think happened? What do you think happened, caller?
I think he has some kind of health issue that's going on. He seems to be just...
His health issue is he's almost 80.
What do you think? Maybe like a mini stroke or something? What are you thinking?
Well, I think my parents both made it into their 90s, and they didn't require any kind of...
Well, listen, Biden's got a lot of vices, right? We know he's a pervert. And a guy like that is doing other things too, ingesting, whether it's alcohol or something else their whole lives. So a lot of his cognitive decline has to do with him living a life like Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden has led a similar life to his father. He just kept it secret and looked clean in public, Joe. You understand? With the strippers and all this stuff. That's how Biden's lived his life. So that's why he's got this problem.
Yeah, the other thing I want to point out, and then I'll get out of your hair, is as a Catholic, missing a chance to do a mass with the Pope. That is really big.
It's massive.
I'm sort of a more or less a lapsed Catholic, but I would not miss it.
I wouldn't miss it either. I mean, it would be a moment that you and by the way, not just for you, but your entire Catholic family, as the sitting president, to have such a thing is a big freaking deal. And yeah,
so I think there's something going. He missed. He supposedly canceled the meeting with Putin also. So I think there's something bigger going on here. But anyway,
Well, and I'll tell you another thing. Thanks for the call. Another thing about the Putin. I thought he all of a sudden he got all butch all of a sudden with Putin yesterday a little bit. And that was to cover his health lapse. Like I'm a tough guy, so I can clamp down on Putin, And that's dangerous.
Cover it.
No. I wonder why whatever happened, why didn't they just get him a busy schedule and reschedule the fake press conference? The press conference was just from pre-planned people that were on his list to ask questions.
Sometimes the obvious is the answer. I mean, maybe he's just not able.
Yeah.
Point where that happens.
He did. I was just looking online, and what the caller said is true. He did look sedated, which seems like the opposite that you want to do at this point. You want to give him an upper. I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but you're on the radio. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, it's Jim from New York.
Hey, Jim.
Good morning, Steve. Does this come as any surprise? I mean, they as far as the media goes, they badgered President Trump for years. I mean, if he farted in public, it was a national, scandal. And with Biden throughout the campaign, they didn't cover anything about his...
Well, if we only talked about things that surprised us, we would open the show and say hello and goodbye, and we'd have no, nothing surprises me.
True story. I mean, the fraudulent election, they don't want to cover that. This they're not going to cover. So you're right. But it gets back to what Steve was saying. We can speculate, and I agree with you. I think that Jill and a consortium of bureaucrats are running things right.
And I'll tell you what they tell themselves. This is, because these people, they always have justifications. They tell themselves two things. They say, well, Woodrow Wilson's wife signed all of his documents as last year because he had a stroke, Woodrow Wilson. And then they'll tell themselves that Ronald Reagan had Alzheimer's his last year in office and Nancy ran things. So there's precedent for this. They'll tell themselves that. But did you see the picture? Because Steve didn't see it and it wasn't widely publicized. Did you see the photograph of Jill at Biden's desk doing the paperwork?
No.
I have never, ever have I seen a photograph of someone sitting at the desk of any president of the United States doing paperwork. No one. Never seen it before.
That's a decorum issue. You're absolutely right. That shouldn't be happening.
Well, that's her letting people know. She raised Hunter, and she put up with this perv. She's not a moral person. She did that for a reason.
And she's a homewrecker. Let's not forget.
I think Biden, the homewrecker's Kamala. Biden was a widower at the time when he started sleeping with a married man's wife, Jill.
I thought that they were both...
No, remember his first family passed. There was an accident. The wife died. All right. Hey, take care, Jim. Good morning. You're on the radio. Good morning, caller. You're on the radio.
I'm doing...
We're all...
What can I say?
Well, thankfully so, yeah.
Well, I hope the house is doing okay, Al, as much as Brian talks about it.
You wait till it's done. I can't wait.
Steve's basically having a brand new house built around him.
Yeah, no, I hear.
It's exciting.
Brian, what do you think about McCarthy and he's siding up with that Liz Cheney?
Kevin McCarthy's a snake. He's Paul Ryan. He's fake. He's a never Trumper. He's fake MAGA.
I wanted to get your opinion on that because I heard that, and they're trying to bring Trump.
Yeah, do not trust Kevin McCarthy. That's why I was talking yesterday that if we take back the majority in the House in 2022, he's going to be the Speaker. And he took Marjorie Taylor Greene off her committees. You know, I mean, he is not. I call him the Judas of Mar-a-Lago.
Okay.
All right, take care. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Yeah, it's me,
Richie, once a day, Richie. This is what happens to go screenless. No, Richie, once a day. We're not breaking that thing, and nothing's quick with Richie. All right, it's time for a break anyway. We're going to take this quick break. When we come back, it'll be time for the Gold Report, all right? So don't miss that. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. We'll be back right after this with the Gold Report.
Hey guys, Brian Craig here. I have the MyPillow slippers, and Mike Lindell, he's right. These are the most comfortable.
Steve Kane Show. Mm-hmm.
Them for 40% off at MyPillow.com with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. One of our listeners called in on the air and told us about his experience with the MyPillow My Slippers.
Brian, I have the MyPillow slippers, and I have neuropathy. These are fantastic slippers.
Really? Which ones do you have? Which style do you have?
The fur-lined one.
Oh, the slip-on fur-lined ones?
Yeah, inside, outside.
What is neuropathy, and what are the symptoms?
Well, the nerves in your feet start going bad, and it affects your balance, and it's painful.
So you're wearing the MyPillow My Slippers, which, by the way, 40% off with the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and it's helped with your neuropathy.
Yes, it is. It's much. I have to wear slippers at home. I can't go barefoot or even with socks on.
Wow.
So I have to wear that. And I also have the MyPillow pillow and the MyPillow mattress topper and the...
That mattress topper is unbelievable, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
My wife loves it.
Oh, man. I know, they're all great. Yeah, I know. And by the way, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, 40% off the MyPillow slippers, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get 2 free pillows.
Oh, we're going to be off on Friday. I have a medical test I have to do on Friday, so we're going to be off on Friday, but back on Monday.
MyPillow.com.
Okay.
Or call 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. At noon weekdays.
The box in the middle of the screen was lots of frustration in the first hour of the show. I added a window for when people add super chats that it pops up on the screen, you know, because I sometimes miss it down here, and it's supposed to be up in the top right. It's stuck in the center, and I can't move it. So that's what that's about. That's what happened. That happens.
All right, the moment has now come that all of you are waiting for each day on the Steve Kane Show at this time. We talk to our good friend William Youngerman of William Youngerman Inc. William has been a sponsor of the Steve Kane Show. He is a specialist in precious metals, and there is no one who has the expertise in this field that William does. If you've been following his suggestions through the, almost 20 years now that he's been with the Steve Kane Show. Actually, he's been talking to customers for the last 50 years. He knows his stuff, and if you've listened to his suggestions, you're pretty good, well off because of it. So let's check in and see how the gold prices and the silver prices are shaping up this morning. William, how are you feeling?
Great, Steve. How you doing?
Excellent.
Good. Well, the precious metals are hanging in there very good after a big drop yesterday, going down once again, as we've seen on a half a dozen times so far. The metal going down and testing that support level right around $1,850. And that's what it did yesterday, getting down to as low as $1,845 before reversing and turning around and going back up and closing down only $11.90 on the day, closing at $1,865.90 the ounce. Silver did similar, but came back and closed down only 9 cents at $27.83 the ounce. While platinum, the only gainer yesterday, was up $17 at $1,161, and palladium was down $21 at $2,683 the ounce. This morning we've got the metal pretty much unchanged. Right now it's $1,865.30. That's down 60 cents. Overnight so far we've traded at $1,858 to $1,870 on gold. Silver up or down 17 cents right now at $27.65, while platinum is down $11 at $1,150, and palladium is up $5 at $26.88. The dollar remains stronger, and the oil price is just under $72 a barrel now. Bitcoin's trading around $40,000 an ounce, and rhodium is still hanging in there at $21,000 now. Bitcoin at $40,000. So that's pretty much where we are. Gold gaining back much of its losses from yesterday, but still a great buying opportunity under $1,900 now.
And especially...
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Certainly, for over 50 years, we've made a good two-way market in all of the precious metals, regardless of the form that they're in. So whether you've got old jewelry or silverware or things that you're not using anymore, or wearing anymore, or it's broken, bring it on in. We'll be...
Now, let me give the address and all the contact information. Now, William Youngerman is open weekdays at 10 a.m., located right here in Boca at 150 East Palmetto Park Road, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, and you can call them 800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, take care, take care. All right, the mystery deepens. What's going on with... Yeah, we got time. I'm going to give out the number, 1-888-GO-KANE1 is our number, 888-465-2631. We're talking about Biden's condition yesterday, and also trying to find out some more information about this Project Veritas breaking story that's going to be coming later today. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Hi, Brian. This is Rolanda.
Hey, Rolanda.
Steve asked a very pertinent question about what's happening to a person who's like Biden, who's undergoing dementia. I have someone that I know, and she told me that there are times when they have to sedate her mom. She said her mom, when she talks to her on the phone, is very loving and wonderful, but when she sees her in person, she flies off the handle. She gets angry. She might start cursing. This is what you're dealing with Biden right now. There are certain people that trigger him, he's starting to have lapses in memory, things that he probably wouldn't say in public. To deal with, and someone who is expired, who is not getting the.
Oh, now slow down. So are you suggesting he was out of control and they had to sedate him, like he was uncontrollable?
Yeah, sometimes they do get like that, and especially Brian, because I think you might have mentioned it or somebody else. When they're not getting sleep, especially with the trip like this, a very important trip, they don't always get the sleep that they need, especially about being president. And what begins to happen is he starts getting confused. He starts they were talking about Boris
Yeltsin, Boris Yeltsin.
And they talk to the prime minister's wife.
Oh, the Biden grabbing on the prime minister, yeah. Well, but then it really shows some incompetence, because they could have concocted any kind of fake story. They could have said, you know what, we just got a call from the Ukraine and they want to have an emergency. They could have come up with a better cover story to drug him up and put him out there doped up for a fake press conference.
Sometimes, Brian, believe it or not, he might get to a place, something might go on in his head, he might hit someone. When a person has dementia, it is a very tedious thing to deal with them, and I'm learning a lot about it right now because I've gotten to know someone who's dealing with.
And you're seeing the same signs in Biden.
Yes, I am, and yes, they do have to sedate you so that actually to protect you, sedate you to protect you in many instances, and to protect your reputation, because it's getting to the point now. I think you mentioned it yesterday, that the Prime Minister of Canada says we can look to have Kamala because they recognize the signs. A lot of people.
Well, they've spent a lot of time with him, and I'll tell you, they're worried about Putin making fun of him. Boris Johnson corrected Biden, I think twice publicly live on television at a meeting in a laughing way. You know, what happened to the special relationship, right? That we had with the UK.
I looked at that. I was so embarrassed. I said, "Oh my God."
I don't like Biden at all. Okay, and he's a sleaze, and his son's a sleaze, and his wife's a sleaze, and everything else that goes along with it. But he's a human, and I have sympathy towards my fellow humans. And he's a victim of elder abuse by his wife and staff.
Yeah, but you know, Brian, you're dealing with 30, 40-year-olds who probably haven't dealt with this in their life.
They got Jen Psaki has a grandmother and a grandfather.
Yeah, but they don't want to be embarrassed. That's all they care.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing about two things with Kamala. Okay, one. Remember, I was talking yesterday on CNN. They said that Kamala's trip to Latin America shows she can't be coached, which really means controlled. So they can't control Kamala. Yeah. So they don't want to plug her in because they lose control with Kamala. She's an unknown. They can control Biden to an extent.
Have it for diplomacy.
Yeah, well, she doesn't have. Well, she doesn't do what the White House staff tell her to do, and they don't. Biden will to a certain extent, so they don't want to plug her in. They lose control. And there's another thing too that I'll mention. If she comes into the presidency after the midterms, she is entitled to 2 of her own terms. If she comes in before the midterms, she only gets one elected term opportunity ahead of her. You can only be, well, no, but they don't think that. She doesn't think. If you're,
realize it now.
Well, they're in chaos now.
They can't handle her for a little trip like this to Europe or something.
Well, Trudeau said, well, if she, that was the plan. Well, it's been a chaotic week. Chaotic week.
I was just saying that.
Yeah, their plans are being reevaluated. Hey, Rolanda, I got to run, but thanks for the call. Richard Pearl from Richard Pearl on Politics, which is on our radio stations weekdays at noon, is with us. Hey, Richard Pearl.
Hey, good morning. So, a couple things to quickly talk about. One is that there's a financial tie between the Chinese military and the funding of the Wu.
Wow. Mm. 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 Yeah. Who's totally excluded from everything they do. You know? Yeah. Yeah. Now, Richard Pearl's show, we're almost out of time. Richard Pearl's show is on our radio stations, weekdays at noon. You can also listen to him on the iHeartRadio app. Search for our station, call letters WWNN, 2 W's, 2 N's. And his store, Simply Natural, is in Sunrise, the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip, on the east side of University. Open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. And the number 954-741-4045. All right, Richard Pearl, have a great show. We'll talk tomorrow. And Steve, you got just enough time to sign us off quickly. We're almost out of time. Yes.
Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
All right, guys. Hey, listen, thanks for watching. Take care. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if everybody could like the video, that would help a lot too. I appreciate that. I'll see you guys later, all right? Take care.